Hey everybody, please let us know if you can hear us okay. We've had a little bit of technical difficulty logging in, but we are live here, Aboriginal Medical Association doctors, Dr. Amsu and Dr. Amoon. We are here live around. We apologize to everyone for any delay or any inconvenience. We've had a little difficult time getting everything tightened up for this webinar and getting all the technical stuff out of the way. So we are here. And I hope you guys are all logged in. You can certainly chat with your questions right there on your screen. And we're gonna enable our chat. Thank you. They can hear you, by the way, while you're whispering. But we are live today, and we really wanted to offer this webinar today. Let's set the record straight in order to answer many of the questions about several topics that we'll be talking about today. There are a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of disinformation out there, a lot of myths out there that are really predicated by the medical industrial complex that are just tradition. And there's a lot of disinformation, especially about wild foods, non-hybrid foods, alkaline and acidic foods. And those are some of the main things that we'll be talking about today. And we'll certainly be getting into some things about sexually transmitted diseases, I believe, reproductive health, and all of those things we'll be getting into today as well. So this is a very open forum today. This is not lecture style webinar today. This is more about connecting with all of you. I talked to so many people throughout the week, and I am looking forward to just connecting a little deeper with you guys so that we can get some of your pressing questions answered. And this is what this is about today. So I want to encourage you guys to get in the chat, throw some questions, and I'll be just kind of throwing some questions at the doctors today that have been coming to me so that we can open up the dialogue and get into this conversation. So just kind of wanted to give everybody a minute to get logged in. Let us know if you can see and hear us okay before we jump in, all right? So I can see a few people logging in. I'm sorry, what are you saying?
They can hear you. Go into the chat.
Okay, if you can hear me, go into the chat and just say, yep, you sound good, because that's very important before we get too deep into this. I want to make sure everybody can hear okay. All right. So go into your chat and just give me a thumbs up or let me know that you're hearing us okay. And we're just going to make sure that our chat is functioning well before we get into it. Okay. Okay. So we're going to give just a short moment because we had some difficulty hopping in. Actually, I'm going to hop online and let everybody know that we are here and we're ready. I know a few people may have logged out because maybe they thought that we were not here. So let me make sure, because we should have many more people in this room right now, and we don't want anybody to miss anything because we were late and you waited on me, so I'm going to wait on you. All right.
Let us know where you're from.
So let us know where you're from, guys. If you're in the rooms, hop in your chat. Let us know where you are logging in from. And let us know that you can hear us okay.
That's right. You're hanging out with the doctors today.
Dr. Amsu and Dr. Amoon, I'm so grateful to have you guys with me today. And I'm so grateful to tackle some of these topics because it's crazy what's going on out here with a lot of the disinformation with health food in general. I think that a lot of people like myself came into this lifestyle right out of, the soul food buffet line, you know what I'm saying? Right out of just a typical standard American diet, which, for many Blacks and Latinos is junk, right? Blood and starch, right? So, I think in that transition, I was hit with what is kind of the staples for healthy food. And that was, the fried tofu, that was the fake hot dogs, the fake burgers, every day I was eating,
Soya beans,
canned
soya burgers.
soy, veggie chili, and, this and that. So I think there's a lot of myths about what it means now to even eat healthy at all. So I think people give up and then they decide, well, I'm just going to eat whatever I'm used to because they don't know what to eat. So we want to get a little deeper into all that today. I see a lot of you guys still logging in. Let me know if you can see and hear us okay. That's very important before we get too deep into this discussion.
Let us know by show of hands. Nike or Adidas. Very important.
Very important. You need to-
Adidas.
Adidas all day.
Is this a Nike Adidas battle? Come on, guys.
And what I did,
White blood cells, red blood
No,
cells.
These major brands.
here's what I did.
Here.
I dressed down the Adidas to give him a chance.
That's
Oh,
what we did. But
okay.
Give him a
white blood
chance.
cells, and later on
Look,
we
all
are explaining
I want
about
to know
white
is,
blood cells and white
are
adipose
either of
tissue.
them cutting a check because y'all are representing, like y'all endorsing them or something?
The stem cell, I can't really go into so much detail with Nike and AMA, but let's just say that we're doing the right thing.
Okay. Well, look, I'm not gonna lie. If I saw either one of you driving down the street, I wouldn't think there goes a doctor or there's an herbalist.
There you go.
You look
And
so sporty.
It's a Sunday.
It's
It's
very
Sunday.
The
deceiving.
sun's out.
But the thing is, we want to touch the people. We want to come across that we're real, like we're down to earth. So people don't have to feel like, oh my days, how do we get to speak to these guys? Or how can we
Gotcha.
relate to these guys? Or how can these guys relate to us? We want to make, that communication. We want to touch the people to let them know literally, like, listen, we are professionals. We know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing. But guess what? We're just like you. We're nothing really special besides the information that we have, and we apply it like this. We'll dress in suits. People that follow Dr. Amsu, Dr. Amo, myself on Instagram, you've seen pictures of us in suits, the professional look. You've seen us dressed down, the culture look. You've seen it all because that's what we are. We do it all. So today's a Sunday. You're hanging out with Chef Aki, AMA, Dr. Amon, Dr. Amsu, and like this Chef Aki said, we're gonna, address some of the questions that you guys put out. I think someone just
That's me.
that's all right.
But they're talking in my Facebook like, where are you? The screen's black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're working it out. Okay. Yeah, like we're saying, I'm here with Dr. Amun and Dr. Amsu from the Aboriginal Medical Association. These brothers are here with me in Atlanta, Georgia today. They hail from London, England. Yeah. And they actually have been here in Atlanta working on some amazing herbal formulas for several years. They have been working with clients specifically in reproductive health and also focus on nutrition, okay? And on, would you call it an alkaline diet?
No, I wouldn't want to call it alkaline
I didn't
diet.
think you would.
I like to call it, what do you say? Minerals, healthy, carbon? No,
Non-hybrid is the best term.
that's the best term.
Non-hybrid
Non-hybrid.
herbivore.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the best term. Non-hybrid.
So plant-based non-hybrid diet would be the diet that you suggest. And then for women, even more evolved diet in that case. Also.
Estrogen-free diet.
And
Well, estrogen-free is also for men.
Exactly.
Because estrogen dominance affects men. You've got men with erectile dysfunction. You've got men with,
Losing hair,
they've got erectile dysfunction, prostate issues,
hair loss.
alopecia, all kinds of gynecomastia.
Yes.
The
Breast
breast
titties.
yeah.
growth. Mhm.
Not good.
Yes.
So we're keeping it real. I can say titties.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Sunday. I
I
can say
see
titties on a
lots of
Sunday.
men. Absolutely.
And,
Yeah, I did a post on that a few years ago that is bottled water making your man have breasts?
right. And also, very importantly, behavior. Behavioral issues, behavioral dysfunctions.
Mhm.
Our bodies are, every gland and cell and organ communicates via chemicals. There's a chemical communication going on,
Mhm.
electrochemical communication.
Mhm.
And the moods that you're in. So when you're angry, there's certain chemicals that kick place that your brain or certain glands in your brain will kick out. When you're depressed, same thing. If you're scared, same thing. There's chemicals, whether it's adrenaline or whatever, that's all part of your endocrine system. So certain foods you eat, they're gonna dictate behavior. So the reason why we see, us from the boomers, we know how we grew up and we know how things have become dumbed down. There's a reason why things have become dumbed down, is because there's lack of minerals that helps with intellect. Intellect is a chemical response to what you eat. So
when you say dumbed down, you're talking about intellectually.
Intellectually, it's like, our parents, they were around in the jazz era. So jazz music is complicated music.
Very.
But when you listen to jazz or you listen to classical music, you're actually wiring your brain. But the ability to relate to that kind of music has been severed because the food we're eating is junk. So we can't even process. That's why, I talk about producers who produce with one hand. They pressing buttons. They don't have to play anymore. They, no instrumentation. So, our behavior, our moods and our mood swings and all that is all dictated by chemicals, and the chemicals are products of our foods. Certain glands in our brains respond to certain foods. The minerals that our livers, the liver kicks out vitamins and minerals, and it's assigned to certain, glands and whatever. So there's a balance that has to be maintained. Potassium, calcium, magnesium, manganese, oxygen,
minerals.
Glutamate even, highly regulated. So when there's an offset, when there's a disturbance of that balance, it results in dysfunctional behavior, dysfunctional moods, and a lack of intellect, actually becoming dumbed down. So the music that I cannot stand today, all kinds of music, I don't even listen to radio no more because it's like, it's garbage, but it's happening for a reason, because we have literally been dumbed down.
Like Dr. Amsu said.
Well, before we get too deep into that, I don't mean to cut you off, because I still see a few people trying to log in here. Guys, please let us know, go into the chat. We haven't really even gotten started yet, so don't worry. And if you're just now getting in, we will make this video available to you guys no matter what. If you pay to register, then this webinar will be available to you, so no worries. But we definitely want to hear your questions, so we want you to be able to hear us. Just type in and let us know in the chat if you're able to hear us. Also, hit us with some of your pressing questions as well, okay? But before we get too deep into that, I want to kind of just share with this audience who's not familiar with the Aboriginal Medical Association, not familiar with you two as doctors and herbalists. Tell us a little bit about how you got into your beginnings and what is the Aboriginal Medical Association?
Dr. Amon?
Well, myself, I basically got into medicine at King's University, or King's College in London, England, studying the human anatomy, physiology, and martial arts, or what they call Chinese traditional medicine. But going into the Western medical institution, studying in that way, I was doing that for maybe 5 going on to 6 years, and realizing that we're not coming to any solution of a cure for anybody. Okay, we are doing all this lab work. We're going into cells. We're going in about blood work. We're going into about anatomy. We're learning all of this technical stuff, but there's no solution. There's no cure. There's no remedy. So that kind of disheartened me. And through that, I varied more with the Chinese influence, because I do martial arts and everything like that. And there's a whole healing process on alternative healing from that. That was pulling me, and I followed that path. So I dropped out. So you could call me a kick out, a drop out. Sorry, a drop out. Right? That's fine, because I dropped out of an institution that's not healing anyone, but making billions of dollars or pounds, whatever currency you want to use, of people being ill and sick, but not actually bringing any remedy, not actually curing anyone. So I varied that way. And in doing that, with my studies and travels, around the world. You know, I've been to Dubai, I've been to Africa, I've been to the Middle East, I've been to Central America, South America, North America. I came across people like Dr. Sadie in Africa, and even in the West Indies, just seeing old elders using herbs, literally like picking herbs from the garden, breaking it up, boiling it, concocting it, making a tea, giving it to people, getting rid of high blood pressure, bronchitis, diabetes, things like that. So I was like, this is it. I know that this is what I'm looking for. I know that this is like an answer to my personal prayers of like, you know what, I knew there was another way of healing people, because that's what I really want to give. I want to bring a remedy. I want to bring a solution. You know, there's no disease on the planet that can't be cured. So that's a lie, that's a myth. But it's done by that Western institution. So now I don't feel like a dropout. I feel like I've improved. Me with Dr. Ansu, he was on the same path,
Yes.
same page, so that clicked. Then we met up with Dr. Ali, who started the Aboriginal Medical Association. Ali Muhammad, okay? And he had the same mindset. So we said, okay. He said, listen, I've got this all set up. Why you guys don't come work for us, share information, and let's go out there and heal the people. So we said, yeah, we knew what we brought to the table. Dr. Ali Muhammad had a lot to bring to the table, and you know, with us, we both increased our knowledge and learning from herbs, from medical science, from blood work, from
Even astrology.
astrology. Exactly, we were all tying it in, right? The cosmic biology and everything. So that was a perfect fit. And now, for the last several years, we've just been pushing that, you know, and for the last, we say 2-3 years, we really focused on the fiber elimination campaign. But AMA, you know, the Aboriginal Medical Association, we are focusing more on our people, people of color, black people, indigenous people. The reason why, because it's been proven that we have a total different anatomy, all right, than any other race on the planet. So we cannot just give a blanket prescription of medicine that you would give to a Caucasian or even Orientals, because we're different. Our body metabolizes the minerals differently. Our liver, our melanin, our even acid functions from amino acid to carbonic acid in our body, it all distributes and functions different to every other race. That's why, you know, we can be in the sun, they can't. That's why when you breathe different, it's just different. I mean, we can go into serious levels of how different it is. But
So you're saying that Aboriginal Medical Association is focused on, I guess, unique genetic biology.
genetic
based
biology
on-
for our people. However, it doesn't mean if a Caucasian lady or Oriental lady, Asian lady has fibroids or breast cancer that we're not going to assist them and, you know, give them remedy. No, it doesn't mean that at all.
So this could work for anyone.
It can work for anybody. However, we are focusing though, right? We are focusing our attention and our efforts for our sisters, for our mothers, for our people. Because if you look at any of the statistics, North America is the #1 country in the world for hysterectomies.
Yes.
But the top of the race list of women that are having hysterectomies performed on them are Afro-Americans
Blacks and
or
Hispanics.
Black and Latinos. Okay, Latinos are Black and Latinos.
Yes.
You know, so when I say Black going forward, I'm including my Latino people. All right. So heart disease, like heart attacks, obesity, sickle cell anemia, high blood pressure, diabetes type 1, type 2, STDs. I mean, the list goes on. We are the top of all of those health conditions I've just listed. The question is, and what we are addressing is why. We know why, but we want the audience to start waking up. We want our people to start waking up and saying, listen, you know, this is an epidemic here. We now need to address it. So we have come forth and said, we are going to address it. And we're going to educate people on health and say, this is why we're facing such health challenges. And from a young age, we've had this year alone, you know, Prince just died the other day. you know, okay, Prince was a little wild, a little freaky, but he was too young to die. You know, he was too young to die. A magnificent human being, talented, but, you know, he passed away. How, you know, only what, 55, 57? 57. That's still young. You're in your prime. Okay.
We lost five.
One of the hip hop
Diabetes,
icons. Diabetes, a big loss. He was in the 40s, right? Lupus. All of these things. So you can see it now that it's becoming a serious issue. Your health is a serious issue. Health equals wealth, because you bet your bottom dollar that everybody surrounding Prince's family right now is battling for that money, for that wealth. Who has the right for this? Who has the right for that? Who has the right for this? You see what I'm saying? 5. Same thing. Michael Jackson a couple of years ago. The list goes on how many people we've lost. My guy from the West Coast, what's his name? The rapper, Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
Right? He went, right? I mean, it's just becoming serious now. How many out there, entertainers or athletes that you know, or family members close to home, are suffering with diabetes, high blood pressure, sickle cell anemia, fibroids?
Most people.
You know, STD, herpes, all of that. So we're here to say, you know, AMA is here for you. And we want to clean it up. And we can clean it up. And it's a life-changing experience. Once you're disciplined enough and acknowledge what you have to do to take the steps to become healthier.
And that's why we're here today, everybody. I see you're all getting logged in. Welcome. We've just getting started, you guys. We got in right at about maybe 10 or 12 after 5. Had a little bit of difficulties logging in, so hopefully nobody got turned away. But let us know if you can see and hear us okay. And just get into your little chat box and hit us with questions, as we're here today with myself and Dr. Amun and Amsu of the Aboriginal Medical Association, just telling us a little bit about the Aboriginal Medical Association, how they got started. They hail here in Atlanta, Georgia from London, England. And I've been blessed to work with these brothers for many years now. We've been knowing each other for over 10 years. And just all traveling this journey together towards greater health. And it's been an incredible journey. I myself am 36 now. I've been now vegetarian for 17 years. You know, again, I say this all the time, I'm so grateful. Never medicated, hospitalized for any reason. And I know that it is a plant-based diet that has made that possible for me. It's been maybe about 6 years now that I've been really disciplined and focused on the non-hybrid diet, and that's what we'll be talking about today. Not simply an alkaline diet, but the non-hybrid diet. And we're going to talk today about what exactly is a hybrid or non-hybrid food. We're going to get into this whole acid alkaline conversation, as well as get into some things about reproductive disorder, as that is their major focus right now. Is if you guys have seen the Fibroid Elimination Bible, and then there's also the Fibroid Recipe Guide. So hopefully you guys have gotten all logged in. I see we're loading up with our viewers. We're just getting started, so don't worry if you're just now being able to get in. I know some of you are doing a webinar for the first time. No worries. And it may take a little bit of getting used to. You got to check your email and hop in and do all this stuff, so no worries. Let us know if you can hear us okay, guys. Let us know if you can see us okay, and I'll hop on Facebook and make sure that there's no issues there, that everybody can hear and see us okay. I'm here with Dr. Amun and Dr. Amsu, and we are just now getting started. So we were talking briefly about the beginnings of the Aboriginal Medical Association and their focus on, I guess what I could say is indigenous biology. We're talking about the unique genetic makeup of Blacks, Latinos, Orientals, Caucasians, and how we all actually assimilate minerals differently. Is that what we're saying? And that we all need a different protocol for our health. That it can't be just a one-stop or one-size-fits-all approach to what's needed for you to be fully well. That as Blacks and Latinos, that we need something different than what is typically provided by the Western medical establishment. And that is Aboriginal Medical Association has position themselves to be the answer to, I guess, the American Medical Association. You know, now we have the Aboriginal Medical Association, where we can have care and remedies that are specified to our genetic makeup, and that that's something that we want to not only make available to you all, but that we want you to really understand in this webinar today. So this is not a lecture style webinar. This is a casual webinar for us to connect with you all, for us to answer questions, for you to ask questions that have been pressing on you about some of the misconceptions with a vegetarian vegan diet and a hybrid or non-hybrid or alkaline diet also. So I'm going to just kind of kick this off. As I can see, some of you guys are kind of coming in and out. I don't know what's going on here, but no worries. We will have this entire webinar available to you. If you have registered, we'll shoot it to your email so that you can have a direct link. So no worries if you're just getting in, you'll be able to view everything that we have offered you here today, okay? All right, so maybe shoot us a chat, see and hear us okay, guys. And I'm gonna hop in, and just as we kind of get geared up here, I'm gonna hop in and make sure everybody on, let's see. Okay, so everybody on Instagram looking good there. My Facebookers, where are you guys from? Let us know where you're logging in from today also. We wanna know who we're talking to. And let us know that you can hear us okay. Let us know if your chat's working. Is your chat working? Can you hear us? Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Okay, guys. I hope you. I don't know. Nobody's saying anything.
Some people are saying they can hear us, but they don't have an option to chat. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you can hear us. Not sure what's going on with our chat. It looks like the chat is on and cracking. And I definitely wanted you guys to be able to see each other chatting. Young generation, you join the chat. Oh yeah, I see you. I see you. All right.
Because he just invited himself. From your
Oh, well, you invited yourself, babe.
from the other thing, so
I have
just
something.
invited
Hey,
him to chat.
hey. I can see you on my camera. To list all available commands. Oh, okay. So, Julius, we may have to invite everybody from here. Something like that. Okay. So, I see your comment as well in your face. Okay. Get out of there. Okay. Get out of there. Come on.
Switching.
It's switching back and forth. Now we have a low battery, so bring a battery over here as well, would you?
It's like Google Hangout in the webinar. What software are you using to do the webinar?
Webinars on air.
Webinars on it. So that looked like Google.
Well, it
Hangout
is.
just a minute
It's
ago.
connected with Google Hangout.
Okay.
Yeah, it's connected to Google Chat. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right on in here. So let's get
Let me see if I
into.
can.
I want to get into this conversation. There's a lot of, and I'll just kind of pull up a few questions that I have actually. There's a lot of misinformation right now going on about the alkaline diet. And a lot of people are asking about acids versus alkalines. For example, I posted something, I believe it was a tamarind tea recipe that had lemons in it. And someone said, oh, well, you know, that's acidic, so you can't eat lemons. And I remember maybe 6 years ago, strictly getting off lemons and only eating limes, because I also was under the impression that lemons were acidic and that we should never drink or eat lemons. So speak to us a little bit about what's going on. I noticed that you guys absolutely recommend lemons in your fibroid elimination diet.
All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit now, and then this guy's going to come. We're going to chime in. All right. So, all right. What's so crazy about that statement is this. All right. Let's just take, for instance, one of the popular vitamins, right? Vitamin C. What's another name for vitamin C? That we have to get so much vitamin C. It's so essential for our health and all that. What's another name for vitamin C? Ascorbic.
Ascorbic acid.
What?
Acid.
Ascorbic what?
Acid.
Acid. So when people start saying, "Oh, don't eat anything that's acidic," it's like, "Oh, acid." That's ridiculous. It's a very, I say, it's a very lazy way of speaking. Don't eat anything acidic. Only eat alkaline. It's lazy because it has no explanation. It's a mundane thing to say. So when you're dealing with vitamins or minerals or enzymes or anything like that, you cannot be caught up on terms that are vague, like acid and alkaline, because there are things that are very alkaline, like chlorine, like bleach, extremely alkaline. Like, well, if you drink it down, that's gonna, gulp that down, it's gonna take you out. So there's a balance that we have to maintain between acidity and alkalinity. So we need structured acids, things that are going to help. Anything in your body that's solid, like your bones. Your bones are solid. That's the more acidic substances that we intake that's going to develop strong bones. Softer tissue is more alkaline, but there's a balance. We have our skeletal system that needs to be looked after. I'm not saying that it's just acid or acidic substances, because there's calcium that's involved, there's potassium, there's magnesium, there's iron, there's phosphorus, there's a whole bunch of minerals that are elements that we need in our body to sustain it. But it's how those are all balanced. It's the percentage of each. Just like you get any recipe or any ingredients, you make tamarind tea. There's a certain amount of tamarind you're going to use. There's a certain amount of water you're going to use. There's a certain amount of lime or lemon, or there's a certain amount of honey or whatever that you're going to use in it. Where there's a pinch of salt, you might say. Why just a pinch of salt? Why not mix everything in equally? Because it's going to mess with the taste. It's going to mess with the how your body can handle it and whatever. So there's a lot of people who say there's no such thing as a poison. It's the amounts, the portions that you use that's going to determine whether something is good for you or bad for you. So, and that's homeopathy, how homeopaths work. It's like nothing's a poison. Just don't use too much of that. And that's where we are at with when we're dealing with diet. Is that all right? There's things that we'll say that people hear me say, that's a poison. Poison, don't eat that. Don't put that in your body. Don't put meat into your body. Don't put things that are going to cause inflammation. Anything that's inflammatory, don't put in your body. But lemons are it's acidic. Limes are acidic. You know what I'm saying? So lemon or lime, one's a hybrid, but it's a good hybrid. That's when we say non-hybrid, not to say that we rule out all hybrids, because there's natural hybrids out there.
Let me take you back just for a minute, because you talked about what sounds like structural acids that we need. Are you saying that we need acid to actually build bone, teeth, things like that in the body? Yeah. That's important. Now, would that be along the lines of the same philosophy as, say, like lactic acid in milk that's building? Hey, I see everybody's chat now. Would that be the same as, say, lactic acid in milk, that milk grows healthy bones and things like this because of the calcium?
Well, milk is not good. Not good at all, because when you're dealing with us as Black people, indigenous peoples, we're lactose intolerant. We cannot tolerate it. We reject it. Our bodies are screaming out to reject it. So when we drink it, when we ingest it, we're trying to get rid of it. Immediately, our bodies are trying to get rid of it. But then we pile it on. The first thing that we have under the standard American diet, or standard European diet, let's be clear, standard European diet, instead of said diet, is you have cereal in the morning, and you have the inflammatory oats or the inflammatory wheat,
Okay.
and you put milk on it, then you add sugar to make it sweet. So this is an inflammatory breakfast. Then at lunch, or we have bacons and eggs
Bacon and eggs and toast.
and toast. Inflammatory. So our body reacts by, white blood cells go crazy, start releasing all kinds of histamines and cytokines and TNF alpha or whatever other chemicals that they release, and this causes damage. And then our body has to now start repairing that damage. When we're young, we metabolize nice and quickly, and we might get sick, get a fever. And when we get a fever, usually the reason for a fever is to burn out what's causing the issue. But what do? Calpol. Get rid of the fever. Forget what was causing the illness. Got a temperature, got fever. All right, take some Calpol or whatever. Oh, the fever's gone down. All right, we've made it. You're safe. No, what's going on inside you is still taking you down. And your body metabolizes and deals with it. But there's a certain age you reach to it, no longer can handle it, and organs and glands and that break down because of all the inflammation. So we get chronic illnesses and we die.
So I want to talk to you about the inflammation.
Well, let me just say one thing
Please.
before that. Going back to this, and it's so ironic because everybody's like, and I've seen some of the posts you put there on Instagram, because I'm on Instagram myself, and everyone's like, the pH level, check the pH level of the food.
Everybody's buying pH strips now.
Right.
Check
And this is again, it's pseudoscience, because you have to understand, water. Everyone's saying get the pH water, get the more alkaline water. Well, swimming pool water, it's high in alkaline. It's the highest form, it's like 10 point something on the pH. So why don't we drink
pool water.
pool water? You got ammonia. That's like 14
That's right.
on a pH. So this alkalinity, this synthetic alkalinity. Then you got lemon and limes that are like 3.3, 3.5 on the pH. But like Dr. Amon said, the structured acid. You need acid. Your mouth has acid in it. Saliva has acid. However, you get the pH strips and you pee on it, or you put your saliva in it to see your pH level. But the
Digestive
urine,
acids.
right? If your small intestines stay at a 3.1 or 3.5, so it can digest your food. If your body was alkaline beyond, we say 7.3, 7.34, 7.35, that's where we want to stay. You have to stay there, because if you get, like they said, alkaline, I want to be electric, alkaline, electric. Well, guess what? If your blood is too alkaline, you die. If you want to test your pH level, you want to really test your blood, because your saliva, your urine, and your blood are going to give you 3 different readings. 3 different readings, okay? A man, semen is alkaline. A woman's womb is what they call acidic, but it creates life. So there's a structure to it. So what you have to understand, you don't want free radical acid. When an acid is free radicals, now you have an issue. But structured acid is needed, and you get it from certain fruits that produces it. So you can't just give a blanket statement on the pH and alkalinity, electric food, and we've been hearing this for years. I got to get alkaline because in an alkaline body, I am health free. No.
Disease free.
Disease free. No. Cancer cells, the nucleus in cancer cells is high in alkalinity. How are you going to explain now having an alkaline body defeats that purpose of cancer? When a cancer cell, the nucleus in it is high in alkalinity.
Y'all hearing this?
So this is something that AMA, we're coming to clean this up. It's coming to clean it up because it's misleading everyone. So now we get mushrooms high in alkalinity. But my question to everybody out there who eats mushrooms, is it natural alkalinity or synthetic? Because how is a mushroom grown in the environment, the condition? Does it have a seed? Does it have a leaf? Does it sprout? If it doesn't, then boy, we want to leave it alone.
Wow.
Now, someone might say, well, like Dr. Absolutely touched on a great point. Well, even if there's a fungus and a bacteria, taking a bit of a poison in a small dose can help with a health condition. Totally agree. we are here, we totally agree with you. AMA will not dish you for that. Garlic, it burns the inside or the lining of your small intestines. However, taking a pinch of garlic sometimes could bring down blood pressure if you're going into a seizure. Well, why not take it? You see what I'm saying? But if you've got cayenne pepper, will be the most recommended substance to take. However, in moderation or just for that purpose, then leave it. People are eating mushrooms like they should be eating red onions and every day. Staple diet. Now, what is the problem? What you're building up? It is an aggressive fungus. So it's going to wipe out whatever bacteria or issue that bacteria is causing. But guess what it does? It starts setting up its own territory, environment. And then somewhere down the line, you're going to be suffering. And you're going to think, what? So I'm going to go backwards. No, that's all mushrooms. Bell mushrooms, oyster mushrooms. What's that one? Sasaki, shiitake, portobello, all mushrooms. I don't care what mushrooms you want to eat. Look how all of them are designed and the properties. Look, people, you have to start looking at the elements and properties of food that you're intaking to know exactly the mineral principles that your body's going to be actually experiencing when you digest or when you consume this. Okay? So all of this pH, and I just want to clear it because I know Dr. Abs has got some more he wants to go on, but I just want to clear this up. So when we're talking about pH and alkaline and, people still use machines to produce alkalinity, then that's synthetic alkalinity. That's not real. You want flowing water that's flowing like a stream, because now it's pulling on the rocks and plants and it's getting natural minerals. Water that's stagnant still is toxic.
So these alkaline machines that cost $20,000, $30,000, you guys.
Kick them out.
It's synthetic alkalinity.
It is, and the doctor, I think his name is Dr. Hashishi, or Hashimoto. Hey, there's a little boy. Right?
Hashishi.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do apologize if anyone's Japanese and that. But he's actually come out and said, I'm sorry, my studies. You know what he's actually said? He's actually said that the success he found from it wasn't based down to the alkalinity. It was based down to the hydrogen. Natural hydrogen fuels your cells. So that regenerates healthier cells. Hence, you start getting remedy for many conditions, not the alkalinity. So all this alkalinity, electric food, pH, look at the pH of this, the pH of that. Don't get me wrong. There are some foods, like we've said, garlic and all of that, that the pH is definitely, I'm not telling anyone, it's okay now to drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi and things like that. No, but look at the properties. Look at when you see fruit and they say it deals with inflammation, right? It attacks that. Then you got to look at, there's some fruits that they might say, if you take too much of it, which they've said about lemons, it can cause deficiency to your immune system. Okay, what immune system are they referring to? Are they referring to the lymphatic system? No, they're referring to white blood cells. Guess what? With black people, and it goes all the way back around to my original point when I was making about the Aboriginal AMA, we don't want white blood cells in our body. We're not supposed to have white blood cells.
That's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole new topic.
I want to get it. I want to take a few questions if you guys don't mind. We've got some water questions that are really just jumping off the chin. This lady says, so if you're in a metropolitan area, what is the recommendation for water? One. The other is, should we not drink? The other is, should we not drink alkaline water? And what kind of water should we drink?
All right. You're supposed to drink alkaline water, but you're not supposed to drink Kangen or Kangen, whatever
synthetic
alkaline water. Water is supposed to contain minerals. That's why flowing water, spring water is the best water. Volcanic water, artesian water. These are good forms of water. Distilled water is good because it's been purified. Purified water and distilled. But here's the only issue with distilled water, purified water, is that water is always seeking minerals to leach. So if water is distilled, whatever, and you drink it, it's going to start pulling minerals from you. So we structure it If you buy distilled water, you structure it by adding chlorophyll, or you can add mineral salts into it, natural mineral salts, or you can buy some dinosaur kale or chard or something like that, put it into the bottle, and it will leach all the minerals
So
out
water
of that.
infused, water being
right, there
treated
you
with
go.
your own
There you
mineral
go.
salts or trace minerals or oxygen, chlorophyll. So he's saying spring water, you guys, is great. Distilled water is cool, but remineralize it because the
Right.
minerals have been
And
taken out.
Your alkaline strips are good because if you buy mineral water and you dip your alkaline strip and it comes up amber, then you ain't bought no mineral water or spring water. Then whatever you bought is, and you have to look at the FDA and what FDA will class as mineral water or spring water, that it only needs to have 10% of spring water in it. The rest can be straight from the tap.
Right.
So I'm saying,
And let me just add about when you're buying spring water, one of the things you want to look at on the label is to see where the spring water is coming from. Now, if they're saying this spring water is, say, from New Jersey or Newark in New Jersey or New York, somewhere where you're like, well, I don't see any springs there in New York. I don't see flowing water. So that means it's stagnant water that they've distilled, so it's toxic. But if they say something like it comes from New Hampton or Boston, where there's a lot of mountains and springs and flows, then that is pointing, again, like Dr. Amsu said, you can have your strips, but also that's a good indication of you buying water that's naturally full of minerals and alkaline. So, again,
It's flowing through the stream,
because it's flowing, it's picking, it's
moving.
anything that's stagnant, stands still, is open and
Junk water.
exposed to toxins.
and that's another thing when you buy distilled water or water that's already bottled, is how fast you have to consume it, because you don't want, you've got people who stack up like stacks and stacks, and then everything that we have nowadays is in plastic. So you don't want to keep something in plastic and leave it sitting there, because the water's going to leach, or the plastic's going to leach into the water, and you have bisphenol A's, BPA's, which are estrogenic, and there are other toxin forms, and this also causes disease and dysfunction of organs and glands and tissues. So
Gotcha.
water.
So I hope we answered that question, you guys, about if you're in a metropolitan area, outside our alkaline water, spring, distilled, treat your water. The fluorooxygen is wonderful to treat your water. Do you guys use trace minerals in your water? Do you do trace mineral drops?
I don't know.
Okay. Pink salt, Himalayan pink salt, but like they said, looking for water that actually comes from a region where there's actually real springs, natural springs. And I know some people who actually go to natural springs and collect water.
That's great.
Would you suggest that?
Yeah, definitely. Like I buy Essential because doing the research, how they process the water, how it's structured is great. But again, they put it in a plastic bottle, so I got to drink it straight away. Like Dr. Amsu said.
Right.
But
Hopefully it hasn't stayed long.
there's certain brands that we'll put up afterwards that you can get from your Whole Foods and natural, even Publix or Kroger's and Walmart. They're starting to sell these waters. If you notice, they're right down at the bottom in the back of the shelf, so you just got to look. But
I've got a question for Dr. I don't mean to take over.
Oh, no, please.
I've got a question for Dr. Amon here from Jameen Jackson. How can I faithfully follow a vegan diet with acid reflux?
That's a good question.
well, me being one,
That's why I asked you.
yeah, I used to suffer. What's her name? Jackson?
Jameen.
Jameen? How you doing, Jameen? I was a victim, severe victim of acid reflux. And I'm telling you, Dr. Amsu can tell you, on clockwork, I would go down every year, throwing up in a bad way, saliva just coming out of my mouth, couldn't keep nothing down, temperature fluctuating because, your central nervous system is in 3 parts of the body, the brain, the spine, as well as your small intestine. So when you're throwing up, that's why your back starts hurting. Have you ever known when you're vomiting, you're saying, I've got a headache? It's because the whole central nervous system is getting disordered. The vegan diet that you have to go on, that we recommend that you have to go on, right? I had to design personally for myself. Now, what I needed to do is to check everything that I was eating. And I give you an example. Organic green cabbage. I felt that when I ate that, I was getting bloated. I was getting gassy, okay? So my body wasn't digesting it properly. However, when I have red or purple cabbage, I didn't have that problem. So if you're a vegan already, one of the things you need to start doing, and what I would recommend, is that you go on like a little fast. We have like a 14-day liquid fast where you starve your body, totally have your body to this, have a rest period of not processing or breaking down any food for a period of days. If you can't do 14 days, you maybe want to do 3 days or 7 days, but to get a real overview of how your body is metabolizing and breaking down, 14 days. Now, you then start eating foods back. You might have sprouts, you might have broccoli, cabbage, certain fruits that will start bringing, anytime your stomach starts bloating or you get wind or gas, that's a sign of your body's rejecting this. So when you're having a vegan, and with us as AMA, there's different levels of being a vegan. Our fruits and our vegetables have to be hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen based straight off, okay? That's something that we push. We're so adamant on that. So when you're suffering with something like acid reflux, again, you've got to treat it with care. You've got to, anything you eat that makes you gassy, bloated, okay, it's a sign that you should now strip away from your diet. If you have any further questions, please hit us up on us.
There's a question here about, I believe, a lady who has a 9-month-old who's she has lots of eczema, severe eczema. Yeah, 9-month-old baby has really bad eczema. She is breastfed, and they only feed her veggies and fruit. Any suggestions?
Okay, so the question is, now this is how we investigate every situation. Is that all right? What is eczema? What is eczema? What is it? What causes it? So eczema, people think, all right, it's a dermatological issue, right? Sorry. I don't know where my mind went. Dermatological issue, right? That's what people think it is. All right, it comes out on the skin, but what's causing it? What's causing it is inflammation. Again, what causes inflammation? What's the root cause of inflammation? Inflammation is caused by white blood cells releasing chemicals. You have to understand that white blood cells, the chemicals they produce, they're so powerful. They're extremely, extremely powerful, potent chemicals, right? A lot of them are histamine. So when you hear people, oh, I got allergies, I sneeze, or I break out my eyes, I blow up and do this, I get outbreak, rashes and all that. This is white blood cells releasing, and the effect it has on your blood vessels, the effects it has on your skin and all that, you see outbreaks. So you have the white blood cells. Now, what's triggering the white blood cells? There's a sensitivity to foods that the child is eating. So even if you're feeding the child fruits and vegetables, just like what Dr. Amun just said, what vegetables are you feeding? Are the vegetables organic? Were they grown traditionally, or under regulation? Has it got a 9 at the front or a 4? Were pesticides used? There's all of you who are online right now, Google the Dirty Dozen. Dirty Dozen foods, and it will bring up a list of foods that are worst affected, right, by pesticides. Then you have the Clean 15. The Clean 15 are foods that when they're grown by pesticides, it doesn't affect them. They're still pretty good for you to eat. They're not bad. You can still eat them, right? Like watermelons. Some of those watermelons have seeds, even if they're grown non-organically. The skin is where all the toxins will reside. It's pulled to the skin. So what fruits are you feeding the baby?
Yes.
What vegetables are you feeding the baby? Because like you just said, he ate green cabbage. The green cabbage causes an inflammatory response.
Right. That
That means that white blood cells are getting active. That means that,
there's a party going on.
right, right. So
This is really important, guys, because I see a lot of women saying, well, I have an allergy to this, or my child has a peanut allergy or an almond allergy and this and that. And I say, well, oh, I can't eat squash or avocado, I have an allergy. And I say, well, is it organic? You go down that list, because it may not necessarily be that you're allergic
And
to
also
that
how
thing.
the food is being prepared is
It's
very.
how food's being prepared, if there's pesticides on it, is it a hybrid or a non-hybrid? All these things matter. So don't be so quick to assume that a reaction to something is strictly an allergy. It can be a much deeper
And,
issue.
and what it is as well, white blood cell count might be too high, so it increases your sensitivity. Anything that you eat that is of low charge, it's going to cause a reaction. Things that you may not be actually allergic to, but because you have a high white blood cell count, it could actually make it appear like you're allergic to something. So it's other foods that you eat, that when you eat certain things, but make sure with your baby, you monitor, and when your baby eats something, and are you only eating fruits
There you go.
and vegetables because you're nursing?
breastfeeding.
So it's about what you have in your system, and if that's transferring to the child.
Yes.
Take
it one thing at a time and monitor.
And I don't know, does it say what part of the state she's from?
No,
Okay.
no.
If you're from predominantly somewhere like, say, down south, and give the child a lot of sunlight.
This is an open forum, by the way, not a lecture. Go ahead.
Yeah. Give your let your child be exposed to sunlight. My middle son had eczema real bad when we was living in London, and so did your daughter. And once we moved out here, just the exposure to the sunlight and fresh water cleared it up. So if you do that, within 3 or 4 months, that should be gone. If you have any further trouble, our information will be at the end, Chef Akiza and AMA, so you could contact us.
Also, we practice science called cosmobiology, right? Cosmobiology is basically we all have intrinsic weaknesses and strengths determined by where we were born,
She's in Kansas.
when we were born, and what time. So your place of birth, your time of birth, and your date of birth. All of these factors, and it's to do with the Earth position as it goes around the sun in 365 days. And
Are you getting into the astrology?
well, the only reason why I'm saying this is this, right? I'm not going to go too deep, but there are intrinsic weaknesses that we all have based upon when we were born. So, you might eat something and you get a headache. Your child eats it, break out in a rash. Somebody else eats it, they go on diarrhea. Somebody else do it, they throw up. And it's to do with which system of your body has an intrinsic weakness. So
it's not just personality, it's internal.
So there's no,
deficiencies.
especially amongst Black people, there is no hereditary disease. There ain't no hereditary, cancer runs in my family.
It runs on your plate.
Right. It's the dietary customs that runs on the plate.
Yes.
So
Yes.
somebody has cancer. If you eat the same diet, you're gonna get cancer too, because it's a terrible diet. It's an adverse diet.
I want to take another question
Yeah.
real quick. Somebody is asking about coconut aminos.
Aminos.
Yeah, coconut aminos, which is, y'all know I love coconut aminos, and I
You
got
don't
off
break
the
down.
Bragg's aminos several years ago because of the soy, right? And
Radical.
so in replacing soy sauce, replacing tamari, right? I know a lot of us have gravitated towards coconut aminos because it tastes incredible. But I want to get into that today. Also, apple cider vinegar. We don't want to let go of our aminos, guys, but give it to us.
You want to do it? Go on.
I
You love
coconut
this.
aminos.
Because I love coconut aminos, but I had to find out.
Woo!
All right. So
Can I do it in moderation?
It's gotta go.
all right. So amino acids are the building blocks of life, as we're taught.
Right.
There are how many essentials?
24,
20,
25.
20, 23, 22, 23, 24, whatever it is, right? We don't want to get that technical. But they are bound. They are bound by other minerals. They're in a form where they build. When you start dealing with free amino acids, they become free radicals. So any company that starts to extract any kind of amino acids or extracts iron or whatever, any kind of mineral that is now becomes a free form,
Maple syrup.
right? Or extracted,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
They will have an adverse effect on you. They'll cause oxidative stress in your body, and oxidative stress causes stress. So your cortisol is going to go up, your adrenaline will go up, it will cause blood sugar levels to fluctuate, cause issues with your thyroid, your metabolism, that it will cause create an acidic environment within your body, and this is where we start dealing with acidosis, and that is the sister to cancer. So we are totally against anybody who is and remember, Bragg's is the food processor. They have processed foods. These are processed foods, and by processing the food, they're stripping it of its natural,
Nutrition.
pulp and fiber and what have you, and they've extracted this particular part of it, and it's a unbound amino acid. No good. Terrible.
What's that?
He's talking about this.
Tamarind. Just use tamarind sauce. I mean,
Tamarind soya.
yeah. Well, no. I
Tamarind
make sauce. Out of the fruit, tamarind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I make a
The
sauce.
tamari. Oh, I love
Yeah.
tamarind.
Tamarind. I make
Yeah.
a sauce,
I make tea
and
out
I
of
use that. You can use it as a tea. You can use it as a paste. But I make a sauce to replace
Mm-hmm.
the
Add
soy
pink salt
sauce
to
and
it.
things. Well, I don't like pink salt. I usually use the black.
And what I forgot to say as
You
well,
like the black
the
salt.
reason why these things taste so good,
There you go.
right? The reason why they taste so good is because they are, when they unbind these minerals or these amino acids, they are excitotoxins. So they're gonna taste flavorful. So when you have something and it's like, oh, that umami taste,
Mm-hmm.
that's a sign. If it tastes that great, it's
It
gonna
must
be
be
an
bad.
excitotoxin. Excitotoxins kill brain cells, they kill neurons and that. So
Wow.
you have
Because
to
they do get around the brain
Wow.
barrier. Excitotoxins do get around your brain,
blood-brain.
the
Wow.
blood-brain barrier. So
So this
Please.
this ties into our morning apple cider vinegar that we all love. That I've gotten off of vinegar now for over 3 years. And talk to us a little bit about the morning apple cider vinegar that everyone loves.
can you just say it?
You kind of talked about it. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing.
I mean, all vinegar is fermented, goes through fermentation. And anything that's
But
fermented.
because it's an apple, I think that people assume this must be okay for us.
then buy apple.
Oh, you're talking about apple cider vinegar?
Yes.
Yes. Well, if it's an apple, then get up in the morning and like to say, an apple a day keeps the dogs.
Keeps the dogs away.
All right.
Great.
All right.
But it's not an
But
apple
not
you're
all
biting.
apples.
It's-
All right, let me tell you all about this, because after I tell you this, don't try to unlearn what you have learned today, right? Apple cider vinegar goes through a process. Through its process of fermentation, there's two levels of fermentation. The first is bacterial fermentation. Second one is a longer process, and it produces acetic acid. That's ACETIC acid. Now, I don't need to say anything else about apple cider vinegar. Let's just deal with acetic acid. So in order, the FDA or the food agency, Food
Yes.
Drug Administration, right? In order for something to qualify as a vinegar, whether it's vinegar is derived from whatever source, in order for it to qualify as a vinegar, it has to contain 4 to 6%, right? I think it's 4% for the United States, or it might be 6% for the United States, and it may be a bit higher in Europe. But here's the thing, right? In your body, you have fibroblasts. Fibroblasts are basically what binds cells together. It's tissue that binds, in intracellular bonding, right? Acetic acid at any level above 0.0025% of concentration,
Say
right?
it one more time.
Uh-oh.
Say it one more time.
Acetic
Any level.
acid in concentrations of anything more than 0.0025% destroys fibroblasts. It's toxic to fibroblasts.
And there you have it.
Wow. Wow.
So
So your cells, basically.
destroying the cell, it will tear cells apart.
But what you will find,
Wow.
you will find that taking, and I'm sure everyone will say, well, I've been taking apple cider vinegar for years, and I've been doing wonders.
To clear the mucus.
Clear the mucus, but it wipes everything out.
And this is
It's like chemo.
this is why
It kills the bad cells, but it kills the good ones.
all right. So this is why apple cider vinegar causes esophageal damage. It causes intestinal damage. Your digestive system is under fire. That's why there should be warnings. Do not take this in concentrated forms. But why put something into your body where there's a warning that do not take in concentrated form? People who take it have suffered from tooth enamel. Now, your teeth are supposed to be there and strong for you to chew and stuff. It causes enamel damage of your teeth, erosion. It's corrosive. It erodes your enamel of your teeth.
Wow.
So this is going into your stomach
Yep.
and being ingested. So it causes this kidney damage. What it causes, there's a whole
Has anybody
host
ever taken
of diseases that it can cause.
a capsule of just raw apple cider vinegar and just back to it?
No.
It feels like you've just swallowed bleach.
Wow.
It's highly acidic.
It's high acidic.
Wow.
And remember, your mouth is alkaline, but it has saliva that's the balance of acidic. So, your teeth don't start dropping out of your mouth.
Wow. And this is completely different from, I think, what we've all been taught in Western medical, even in the naturopathic community, because it seems like our culture, the European culture, to be, more specific, is really filled with fermented things, the wine, the bread, the
Bacteria,
the beer,
bad
the
bacteria.
cheese, everything is,
Fermented.
rotten or
Yeah.
fermented.
Yeah.
And
Like
it's a
mushrooms.
culture that it's a delicacy to eat rotten or fermented things.
Right, and this is the thing. You got I'm gonna start name calling now. So Megan Good, right? Looks good. Looks great.
Don't start Megan, man.
I'm starting on
Start
Megan.
man.
Anybody know Megan out there? Tell Megan
God,
what
she's
she's done.
married
She's
happily.
caused a lot of problems with her beauty and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the reason why. 'Cause she goes on and she says, "Oh, apple cider vinegar, I swear by it. Look at me," right? So your average sister now, look at Megan Good. All right, I'm starting on this apple cider vinegar. Maybe Bragg might have been like, Megan, here, take some of this money to, you see what I'm saying? Who knows?
Maybe.
So Megan Good is not a doctor. Megan Good is not a nutritionist. But yet, people are following what Megan Good says and causing themselves havoc. But we'll take another question. Anything you want to add to that?
This is a great question. And I'm going to get to you, brother, talking about legumes and the vegan diet, and that you've got the G6PD deficiency. We're going to get right to you, but I want to jump into this question. The sister hails from Southern California. Her nephew just started a vegetarian diet and is biracial. And we talked about, depending on their racial makeup, bodies process food differently. What do you suggest for those with similar background as him? She just got in 30 minutes ago. Hey, no problem. Biracial.
We could go into dynamics of genetics, dominance, recessive. As long as the father, well, that's coming from a different culture. But as long as the child, like my dad's black, my mom is Caucasian, so I'm biracial according to society. But I have no problem with that because of the dominant gene, which I've inherited from my father. So that's what is in her, or I don't know, that child is in your nephew's genetic makeup. That's what's going to be more dominant in his. So this is perfectly fine. However, yes, you have abundance of white blood cells there, which we all do, but we might have a bit more because of our connection with our parent. So we got to just be more on it. If anything, we got to take more of what we're doing to get our dominant side more active and more potent, but it will not harm whatsoever. Again, I don't like using the word biracial. You're black, come in many different shades. Black man, you know, years ago, I think one of my favorite tunes Public Enemy did, you know, was Fear of a Black Planet. And at the end, it was like black man with a white woman, child black. Black man with a Chinese woman, child black. And they were just basically saying that if everyone keeps on integrating, intermixing, there will be a black planet.
Interesting.
There will be no more. So
Interesting.
my whole point is your nephew to society is biracial, but he's black. So this is for him.
So this non-hybrid diet is great for him
Non-hybrid
as
is
well.
perfectly fine.
So I want to jump into, so apple cider is just like drinking kombucha. Ooh, yeah.
Yes, and someone here used to love drinking
Someone
kombucha.
He introduced me to it. Don't believe anything. This guy was like, have you taken it? He introduced it to me, and I knew something was up
listen,
because he introduced it.
I
I knew something was wrong with it.
I was introduced
I wanted to
many
learn.
moons ago, and I said, "Wow, this thing tastes really good." You know, I was like, "Yo, doctor, actually, you gotta taste this." And when something tastes that good, we said, "What's kombucha? Let's do some research." And lo and behold, when we saw fermentation, mushrooms, what else?
Well, kombucha is the seed plant where MSG is derived.
There you go. It was
You
the
know,
MSG.
so it's no.
And it was a big
No
no-no.
go.
So
No
yes,
go.
that's out of the window.
No go. So no to probiotics. Oh, we were going to hit that one today too. Probiotics. Everybody
Well, there's
emails
good
me
bacteria,
about
bad
probiotics.
bacteria, good. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's a European philosophy. That's a European. I tell you what, probiotics is going to lead us to a topic that I know Dr. Amsu's itching to talk about, where we deal with things like nutrition yeast.
Absolutely.
So
So we're going to hold off on the probiotic because we're going to definitely.
I can do it.
Well, I want to
It's
answer
gonna-
this lagoon question
Yeah.
before we go into that because that's a really deep one.
What about the
Yes.
lagoon?
Oh, we'll get to you. Herbs about the heart. Yes, ma'am. So we talked about, yes, G6PD.
Did you deal with that? Jesus.
We didn't get into that.
The
Okay.
lagoon?
Yeah, they have so deficiency, G6PD deficiency. So he's not allowed to eat legumes. How can he maintain a vegan diet?
All right. Well, we basically we don't want anybody really eating legumes
Yeah.
because
Yes.
legumes are
Nitrogen.
nitrogen. What do we call them? They are nitrogen fixators. There are bacteria within those which fixate nitrogen. Nitrogen is a poison for your body,
Your
right?
liver especially.
and your liver. The liver has two functions. One function of the liver is to administer minerals to various organs and glands and tissues throughout your body. The second job is to metabolize toxins and get them out of the body, put them into the lymphatic system or in the excretory system and get them out of the body. So legumes are nitrogen fixators. There are certain legumes that you can actually neutralize the nitrogen that's in them. Like black lentils are one, you know,
Black navy beans.
black navy beans, right? So what you do is you have to, you soak them for 12 to 24 hours. Sometimes we get fanatic and we're like, man, we're doing 48 hours,
Yeah.
right? So when you soak it, you see there will be a white film that develops. That white film is your nitrate. You've neutralized the nitrogen, it becomes nitrate, you wash that off. Now you have the food ready for you to just eat, right? Add to that.
I just want to say, this goes back to my question with the sister with the acid reflux. If we are forced by being on the road, as we do travel, to eat, and we might have chickpeas or lentils, right, which is part of the legume family,
Right.
we know straight away that the preparation that Dr. Amsu just explained hasn't been performed.
Hasn't
You
been
know
done.
why? Because straight away, bloatation.
Yep.
Gas comes, okay? So the brother that's on it, this is what you should try. Exactly the steps that we recommended is soaking them for the minimum of
Soak them
24
in
hours.
distilled water.
Okay,
Distilled
So the
water,
distilled water is
clear
going to
lagoons.
leach that nitrogen out.
And what you will find is that once the seed, whether you know of the lentils
Sprout.
or that sprout, the water now will neutralize. So you will now balance out that nitrogen fixator that's containing it. And let us know how you feel, because I guarantee you, once you
Not
do
with
it,
any lagoon.
Yeah, not any lagoon.
Only the ones that we have
yes,
said.
yes, that's another thing.
Don't be
Not
like,
mess with-
man, I'm gonna kill
Yeah.
them black-eyed peas.
Yeah,
No.
black-eyed peas, kidney peas, green lentils, yellow lentils, red lentils. No. Basically, when you see anything blacker the berry, sweeter the juice, as they say, is totally right. Because when you see things that are really dark, black, purple, brown, it's a sign that it's high in carbon, it's high in antioxidant, you know, it's high in minerals. So you're going to get a nutrition benefit high from it.
Someone just
Let's
asked
say
about black beans.
black navy beans. Not black kidney beans now, black navy beans. Okay, black kidney beans is a no-no. They're like red kidney beans. No. Okay, no stew peas.
No gunga peas.
No gunga peas. Or for all my West Indian
No
or Caribbean
pinto
people out there,
beans
none of that.
for my Southerners.
None of that.
No rice.
No white beans.
No rice.
Leave rice alone.
And no,
No rice.
rice,
Besides,
except for wild rice.
yeah,
Wild rice.
wild rice. No black rice, because black rice, that black forbidden rice, is just rice, but black. So it still contains starch. So you don't want that. But wild black rice is actually a grain, a flour.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not a rice grain, it's a flour.
Soak it.
Soak it still soak it. And hope we help you answer your question, bro. So try
I think
that.
so.
Try that and see how you feel after that, bro.
You asked about herbs that help the heart. You really also need to know why. About lupus. Lupus. We got a lot of people suffering with lupus, and it's all about diet. And you're talking about the heart as well. And if you, I hate to try to establish understanding sometimes with people who have really been kind of caught in the Western medical establishment, because we have this idea that we just need this one herb that's going to address our brain or our heart or our liver, or this one thing that's going to take care of our lupus or whatnot. And that's not a holistic approach. You know, this is really a full body lifestyle that you have to incorporate in order to heal all these different things. So you're talking about the heart, you're talking about lupus. I'm not going to suggest one herb just for the heart. I don't think that these brothers would either, but can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, go ahead. You go.
Okay,
Go first.
I'll let me address the thing about the heart, and you can just build it. Thing is, the heart, as you know, is a muscle. What is predominantly working the heart is your blood. Okay, so you don't want a herb for the heart. You want a herb for the blood. You want to make sure that you're producing blood that's high in oxygen, iron, calcium, and magnesium, and it's charged, because this is what the muscle heart or the heart muscle is going to depend on. Okay, if the blood is lacking in any of those minerals that I've just mentioned, then guess what? You're going to suffer with heart problems, heart conditions. Okay, so there's not a particular herb for the heart. However, there's several herbs that will help cleaning and strengthening your blood and providing those.
No.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Providing.
Yeah. I think it's a Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
Providing. So we're just having a bit of technical.
Technical. Keep going.
Chef Aki went and pressed something. she went on fast with something. And look what's happened now.
Oh
But
no!
there are a number of herbs that will help to strengthen and
Q&A.
purify
There's
Yo.
Q&A.
your blood.
I clicked that. Yeah.
Okay.
It said to say.
He actually went.
All
we lost everything.
Aki touched something and messed up something.
What you touch?
I just can't see the chat room anymore.
Chat
Sorry.
room, okay.
We were talking about the heart. I know you can still hear us. We're
right,
back.
so it's that one.
Okay.
All right, the rainbow looking
The
one.
rainbow. Okay.
So things like, you've got burdock, you've got dandelion, sarsaparilla, camu,
Cayenne pepper,
cayenne pepper,
rosemary,
For the blood.
rosemary,
Thyme.
Ginger.
thyme,
yeah,
ginger. That's just that 7 we've given you,
Yeah.
right?
For the blood.
That basically now gives you stronger, cleaner blood, as well as eating correctly. Okay, your food, right? is your medicine, and your medicine should be your food, as they say. But your food also make a transition into your blood and create your red blood cells. So you got to make sure your diet is correct and the herbs that you're having, because it's the blood. Everything, every condition you have, every organ in your body that gets them starts from the blood.
Always.
And you also have to be specific, because heart disease is usually come from high blood pressure, hypertension, whatever. So that's your blood vessels. Now here's what happens when you eat inflammatory foods. There's damage done to your blood vessels, because the white blood cells, in their many names, leukocytes, neutrophils, basophils, macrophages, lymphocytes. There's so many names for so many T cells. There's
there's only really 7 white blood cells, but they give them like
so many
names
to
confuse you.
Right. So this is the thing, is that they release chemicals and it damages your vascular walls, and then here comes the cholesterol to repair it. Cholesterol is actually trying to repair the inflammatory damage caused by white blood cells. So cholesterol builds up, and then it turns to plaque, and then it blocks the actual flow of the blood. Then you get where blood, that's if your diet is bad, your blood loses its charge, lack of iron or lack of oxygen, whatever. So it gets irregular in its shape, clumps together, so you get thickening of blood. So there are herbs that, like rosemary, like butcher's broom, like gotu kola, and all these, which, gotu kola is also excellent for scar tissue. So
internal
scar tissue, right? So it starts to repair it. So we have formulas, like we have a formula called Phoenix. Let's plug some herbs.
Fibroidelimination.com.
Fibroidelimination.com. Because I saw somebody ask about endometriosis. How can we get rid of endometriosis?
You guys, herbal elixirs, electrical elixirs for all of these different body functions and dysfunctions that we're talking about today. And this kind of seems like the same scenario when people are obese. It's like the body is trying to protect the internal organs by just being inflamed. It's like you're not just looking at you're looking at the problem, but you're also looking at the remedy. Because of the problem, the body's trying to remedy itself.
Right. There are right now on the planet, there's 2 things that's causing a lot of damage in the body. One is estrogen, the other is white blood cells. They work together and they cause all these issues, right? So we're going to deal with the lupus, right? So again, lupus is an autoimmune disease. What is an autoimmune disease? What's the definition? It's when your white blood cells, which are supposed to be your immune system, which it is not. Exactly. Right? White blood cells are pathogens in our bodies, right? But we're taught, because the Neanderthal genes that we have inherited from Europeans is a part of that genetic. Geneticists have proven that Homo sapiens sapiens, or original people, Africans, right, had no white blood cells in the genetics, did not pass on any white blood cells. So when we have it in ours, it causes, that's why we fill the hospitals with lupus, with arthritis, gout, with all these,
cancer.
With all these issues. We top everybody because we're living other people's lives. So autoimmune diseases, again, white blood cells. The white blood cells are the problem, and the diet is the problem, right? So each person has intrinsic weaknesses. So lupus is basically your muscles and your bones are inflamed, and it affects the lungs. The lungs are muscles, So there's different forms of lupus, right? But it's it's a particular type of lupus which is affecting most people. But again, it's inflammatory. It's the not immune system, which is the white blood cells, which are causing crazy havoc. Yes. So your diet change will improve that. And we are vegans. Or we don't like to say vegans, right? Because if we say we're vegans, what do you mean?
A vegan donut.
We heard that you guys eat honey, and honey's from the bee,
Right.
and honey such and such. So all right, we're herbivores that like some.
Got you on it,
But let me
Diva.
tell you something about
Manuka honey.
Yeah, Manuka honey, right? That's the honey we recommend because the country it comes from, New Zealand, is the only country on the planet that is against the law to feed the bees sugar. So when we say we're vegans, yeah, we're still saying we're vegans, right? But we're black vegans.
That means we
That
make
means
it
we do
up.
what we
We
want.
make it up as we go along, right? We're street vegans.
We're carbon
Nobody
vegans.
repeat that,
But
okay?
a question, now think about this, what we just said, and let's deal with this autoimmune disease.
We're gonna come to
deficiency.
the edema.
We got
Right.
you on edema.
That if your white blood cells are supposed to be your immune system, then the problem with lupus is that now the white blood cells are attacking your organs.
Mhm.
How can something trying to protect you turn around and attack you? COINTELPRO. We're doing a whole lecture about white blood cells and parasites. COINTELPRO. That's what they are. Because we've been fooled that these mechanism or immune system is here to protect us when actually, in reality, it's causing us damage. And they will tell you, you could go to any medical institution and ask them, if your white blood cell count's lower, you're suffering with tumors, cancer, deficiencies. If it goes too high, you're suffering with lupus, cancer, tumor. So I ask you this, if you've got a security system in your house and it's not the best security system, then you're prone to people still burgling your house, correct?
That's right.
Right. So 50-50, you can lose your flat screen TV or whatever. But if I enhance my security, then I could go on holiday feeling that safe of mind that my house is secured. So when I come back from my vacation, I should have my stuff, my flat
So
screen
internally,
TV.
the security would be
So-
the red blood cell.
So your red blood cells, your lymphatic
Well, they
system,
say that it's the white blood cells that protect us. So
they say the
if
white
you
blood
up the
cells,
security with
but
the
if you-
white blood cells,
right.
it causes
Have you
havoc.
ever heard
You
that
hear that?
before, you guys?
So it's a
White
simple,
blood cells do not protect us from disease.
listen, it's been the greatest lie ever told. Trust me. Because when you look at it and you go and some of the people that have just asked about who's suffering with lupus, and if you know, we've got many patients suffering with lupus, they will tell you the pain, the hurt that they're going through, and they go to the doctors and they tell them, well, your white blood cells are out of control. It's high and there's no cure for it, but we can seduce it. We can, tone them down, but it's just something you've got to live with. Take your medication and
Right.
hope for the best.
Yeah.
This is what they basically say to you.
Right.
So again, anything that's supposed to be in the human body that's natural is not going to kill you. So cancer is not natural. White blood cells is not natural. I can't stress this enough,
Wow.
especially in the Black, African, Nubian anatomy, body. So this is why AMA is here to set the record straight.
Setting the record straight, you guys. I'm so glad you are all here with us.
The Nike wave.
We are with Dr. Amun and Dr. Amsu, and we are getting down to it. We are covering some heavy topics right now, you guys, and we are taking your questions. We are talking in an open forum today so that we can answer some of the pressing questions and bust up some of these medical myths and food faux pas today. And we are being enlightened. I'm being enlightened as well. And we are here all together just learning and sharing. And we've got some amazing questions. I want to
Abbas
get to.
Hassan.
I want to get
We
into
got you, man. We
I
got
want to
you.
get into edema. Is that how you pronounce it? Edema, I believe. Let's get into that. And then we'll get into this.
Interstitial fluids.
Azoospermic.
All right. So basically, the integrity of your cells, because you have interstitial fluid, which is basically cytoplasm, it's water in the cells. When your cells are breached, they'll basically leak out, and you'll get some people call it water retention, right? And it's an issue. So we have to look at, all right, what is causing the cells to lose their structure, their charge and their structure. So again, you have estrogen, which is a steroid, which diffuses across the cell membrane, and the integrity of the cell is lost. So this affects people in various places. Some people get edema in their legs, like, you know, water retention in their legs. When it starts to affect like angioedema or anything like that, now you're starting dealing with like, all right, this is actually life-threatening now, right? So our whole thing is, okay, again, when we do our cosmobiology, different things will affect different people in different areas. So with edema, there are basic staples, and we'll always mention dandelion. We'll always mention burdock, sarsaparilla. Where I'm from, it's called sarsaparilla, right?
Yellow duck.
Yellow duck. You know, there are certain herbs which help cellular integrity. There has to be a balance maintained of potassium, magnesium, iron, copper,
sea moss,
calcium, right? There's a balance that has to be maintained for your cells to the integrity of your cells, where they don't leak, they're not breached, and you don't get water retention where you see it coming through, you know, you can poke it and see it. No, that's terrible. So with that, your diet has to be changed immediately.
We also recommend
to build up your cellular integrity.
We also recommend, because your meridian system, the flow of energy has a part to play.
Whoa.
All right, Chef Aki again, pressing buttons.
Forgive me,
I
guys.
think we should just leave this well alone.
Okay, sorry about that. Let's go back. Well, the volume was kind of low, someone said. Okay, guys, you hearing us okay? A little better? Okay. Sorry. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear us
pressing buttons,
better.
man. Jackie, that was sabotaging the whole flex.
I'm
We also
sorry. I
recommend-
just hit the volume button. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, great. Okay, somebody said yes. Perfect. Okay, so we're talking about edema. I hope we answered your question.
Smiley face.
Abbas, yes. Demetrius, okay. Hey, Nancy.
We
Hey,
recommend
Michelle.
Qigong as well.
Rayvon, Qigong.
Circulation also will help that.
He said
You need
yes.
circulation.
Okay, yes, they can hear you. Circulation's important.
Circulatory
for
issues.
edema.
Circulation.
So we practice medical, well, Qigong is Qigong, but we will term it medical Qigong for you all because it is fundamental. All right, our bodies, there are two systems of circulation in our bodies. You have your blood circulatory system, then you have your lymphatic circulatory system. Your heart is responsible for pumping blood around your body. So your blood is always going to travel around your body. If your heart stops, that's it, it's all over. But with your lymphatic system, this is the water these are the waters that help to takes all the toxins out of cells, carries them out. Either you defecate them out, or you urinate them out, or you perspirate them out, or you respirate them out, breathe, right? And your lymphatic system carries it around. But here's the thing about the lymphatic system. It does not move itself. It will stay still. So you couch potatoes. This is why people who are couch potatoes, who hardly do anything, spend long hours at work, they're prone to disease and to viruses and whatever, right? Because the lymphatic system, which is there to get things out of the cells and flush them out, it's not moving. So you have to have movement. You know, all right, what he's doing. I was about to do it, but I don't want to flex and knock him out of the camera. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to flex, knock him out of the camera. But Qigong and martial arts, this is what martial arts were made for. Martial arts were actually the practice of keeping your body vibrant and, you know, virility, vitality. This is what the practice, and, you know, aligning the so-called chakras, keeping your glands, your endocrinal glands aligned and functioning correctly.
Breathing
and
and
the way
movement.
how it is to move, you know, you have your your nervous system, your electrical communication system, your electrochemical,
Meridian
biochemical, that's your meridians. It's your electrical system of your body. So by stimulating these meridian systems, it's also the lymphatic system moving around those areas. So jumping jacks, when you jump and you're doing jumping, that's excellent because you're actually moving everything in your body, right? This guy's laughing.
No,
Serious things, though.
It's true.
It's a serious thing.
It's just that You know, the guy started to do jumping jacks on the couch.
I did half jump, but that's the hands.
You know, one of the things he said, you know, as you know, we have 12 major
Yoga
systems
and
in our body.
Pilates.
We have 12 major systems in our body. So we have 14 meridian systems. Each major system or organ in the body has meridians attached to them. If those meridians are blocked or the flow of energy is not flowing
Stagnated,
and it's
right.
stagnated, then it doesn't matter how much herbs and how much food you're eating, you're not going to get those results.
Wow.
You see? So everything works together. Proper breathing,
Have to move
proper
and breathe.
exercise, proper diet.
Aerobic
Aerobics.
exercises
Because if
as
you're
opposed
doing
to anaerobic
anaerobic exercises, generate,
lactic acid.
and that is free radical
And by
acid.
anaerobic, you mean just sitting there going, lifting
No,
weights? Or what
not
do
just that. People like who are trying to like run 6 miles on the treadmill. You know, the heart rate, they train so hard that they get irregular heart rate. Now their heart is starting beating irregular. That's what we're
Right.
talking about.
Okay.
You don't need to push your body to that extreme.
Stress as well.
The stress.
Body stress.
The medical Qigong that we recommend is all internal organs. You know, underneath this Nike top is like a proper 8-pack that's going on. But we don't have to do 1,000 sit-ups, okay? We just breathe and eat right. And like I said, so it's breathing, it's exercising right, intake of pure water, okay? Eating food correctly, prepared correctly, and your herbal supplements.
Whoa, not sure what that was.
Okay, someone in the back there did
See
it.
what? So I tell you what happened.
That's what it was. He said
that
the
was-
chi.
I
He
said
the
that my chi energy just went back there
Right.
and just knocked something out.
But
That
trying to
leads
say.
us to this conversation about sperm, which we absolutely have to get into some reproductive stuff because we've got some questions here. Low sperm, no, not low.
Azoospermia.
Azoospermia.
Right.
No sperm. Okay.
All right, there's azoospermia, which is no sperm. Then there's oligospermia, which is like low
no
sperm
sperm
count,
count.
right? So again, you have an endocrine system, and that endocrine system is disrupted by toxic foods, especially estrogen. So your estrogen, you know, there's a disease that affects people in different ways, and it's called estrogen dominance. So you have gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is a combination of your hypothalamus and your pituitary gland that sends out signals to your testes or your gonads to release certain things like testosterone, or, you know, gets your glands, you know, your bulbourethral gland and your I'm trying to remember your prostate and certain other glands. I don't want to go into too deep, but this is what produces your sperm.
The
Now,
testicle gland. Did you mention it?
yeah, testes, right? So there are certain glands which work together when they become dysfunctional, and what causes this dysfunction is estrogen, right? Because estrogen is we're told that estrogen is the female hormone, right? And there's another thing with the Aboriginal Medical Association where we'll say no, progesterone is the female hormone, testosterone is, you know, but men have progesterone, men have testosterone, women have testosterone and progesterone, but men produce more testosterone than women, right? So with that, there's a balance that has to be maintained to produce the right hormones, the right chemicals. Estrogen comes in the form of estrogen synthase, which is an enzyme called aromatase, right? Which converts or mutates androgens and progesterone and testosterone into estrogen. There's 3 forms of estrogen: estradiol, esterol, and esterone, right? 3 main types of estrogen. They are carcinogens, they're cancerous. Anything in your body that is a carcinogen is not supposed to be in your body, right? So when estrogen gets into your body and it starts to wreak havoc, one of the, you know, it starts to cause glandular dysfunction. Those glands which produce sperm become dysfunctional. So what we do is we have certain herbs that we have a product or a formula. We don't like to call it product, right? We call it a formula, a protocol. It's called essence of virility. Essence of virility. This is for men, and we have a particular ingredient in there called ashwagandha. We also have something called Safed Muesli. Safed Muesli will rid your body of the estrogen, but it will also get those glands, the actual cells which produce the sperm. It will start to activate those, especially Safed Muesli,
Yes.
right? It will get those glands working again by providing them the actual minerals, because this is how we work. All right, what's the minerals that are for your testes and your bulbourethral gland and your prostate, and that we see what minerals they need to function. So it's like, all right, what herbs have those minerals in it in abundance? What herbs are going to trigger the certain chemicals or, you know, hormones that are going to help with that? So we came up, you know, we do our research as herbologists or herbalists. We do our research and find out, all right, what can we get? So we have this formula, which is, you know, we have around 20 different herbs in essence of virility, and it not only does it help with erectile dysfunction, it helps with prostate. You know, we cure prostate cancer, we cure prostate issues, we cure erectile dysfunction, we cure low sperm count and azoospermia or oligospermia as well. All of these things is because we know, all right, the problem is this, we'll get rid of that, and this is the, you know, estrogen is causing this issue, so we get rid of the estrogen and we'll rebuild the glands with these particular herbs. So that's how we cure. Now, I see somebody ask, is garlic herb healthy? We're gonna get to garlic in a minute.
Gotta get to that one.
Yes.
We want to talk about.
And you can get the essence of virility also at fibroidelimination.com. If Chef Akida's right types something in there.
Moringa.
Gotta be very careful with moringa.
What is moringa, and does it help the body? And then degenerative viral disease.
Moringa comes, you got two locations for that herb. You have it in Africa and you have it in
How does
India.
estrogen get in the body?
You want the African form of moringa, but you want to take it, it's a very potent herb. You want to take it in very small doses and you want to neutralize it, okay? There's certain herbs that will help to neutralize it. So like we mentioned, like your burdock and your dandelion, right? These herbs will neutralize it because the potency is very high and you want to take it in small doses. If you take it in a large dose, it can cause irritable bowel syndromes where you'll be defecating too much times, okay? And anytime you're defecating, because toxins do have to come out of your body and they will come out in several different ways, but detoxifying your body through defecation is not a symbol or a sign of that you're properly detoxing, okay? So with moringa, you've got to be careful. I would say take it in a, if you know anything about herb and you're a herbalist, then you will know that it has to be done and extracted a particular way and neutralized with other herbs, because there's herbs there that are, hey, we're just neutral, okay? And what they do, they mix in with certain protocols or formulas and they neutralize the potency, because if you take it in a high amount of it, it will have an adverse
What is a
effect.
small dose? What would you say is a small dose?
What I would say is
How
a
long's
small
a piece of
dose.
string?
How long? Yeah, I mean,
No.
no. What I'll say is a small. See, this guy's trying to get in my head. What I'll say is a small dose. Say, for instance, if you're now, we always recommend taking herbs in a liquid form. Okay, that's one thing we want to say, because it goes straight into the bloodstream. Your body doesn't have to now break down and metabolize it from a tablet, which then loses all the minerals from it. So we always recommend liquid form when you're taking the herbs. I would say if you've got a drop, like a 2-ounce drop or whatever, 1 or half of a nozzle under the tongue, once a day. That's it. That's it. Okay? Read up about it. There's a lot of side effects, right? If you're a woman taking it and you're pregnant, you better be careful. If you're not pregnant, it can also cause heavy flows through your cycles. So, you know, and this is not because the herb is bad, it's because it's being consumed incorrectly. So let's just get that. I'm not saying the herb is bad, I'm saying there's a way, and that goes with a lot of herbs. If it's done or abused or not extracted and formulated correctly, it can have an adverse effect, okay?
I want to talk about this, how does estrogen get into the body?
Several
And
ways.
I think we kind of touched on that. But,
All right. So there are
environmental and biological.
there are plants that have estrogen mimicking substances. These are called phytoestrogens. These are estrogens produced by plants. There's also pesticides that have estrogen mimicking, or which is what we call xenoestrogens. Hair products. If you have your hair relaxed, you go in and got your hair did over the weekend, or you've been getting your hair did for years, there's a substance, a chemical substance called phthalates, spelled PTHY. PTHTHALATES, something like that.
Yeah. It looks like phthalates.
PHTHALATES, phthalates, right? This is highly estrogenic substance, which is in hair relaxers. It's also in these
Lotions
these lotions, but especially in these
Relaxes.
placenta-based shampoos and all. Everyone want to get now. Oh, you heard about placenta? Look at my hair so flowing. All that. No, it's terrible for you, right? It's causing problems. And when you relax your hair, it seeps into the scalp, into the bloodstream, and now you got estrogen in the bloodstream. Certain foods, apples, Granny Smith's apples, right? There's a list. We have a book called The Fibroid Elimination Bible. Got Fibroids? The Fibroid Elimination Bible, which me and Dr. Amun wrote. And you can get it from fibroidelimination.com. But in that book, we speak about all the foods that contain estrogen. And it's not just about fibroids, it's endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, endometrial cancer, breast cancer, and infidelity. Infidelity. All right. But anyway, right? But all of these foods, we have a list of all foods which contain estrogen, and you're gonna be surprised how many foods you're eating right now. In fact, most people, 90% of their diet has estrogen in it.
People say, we've had women come to us saying, I'm a vegan, but my fibroids are still there. The fibroids are actually growing. What the hell? Because I'm a vegan. And then when we go through the foods that they eat, we start seeing that, well, that particular vegetable, that fruit, that nuts, all pertain with estrogen dominance. So it gets really, it goes really deep. We have to start stripping layers.
So we've got about 15 minutes left. We're going to take our last few questions. Someone is asking about traveling, that they get discouraged. You're getting discouraged when you travel and you're looking for healthy food. And I'll be the first to tell you, I travel a lot and it can be discouraging, and you really have to, again, it becomes a lifestyle. There's no time ever that I leave my home where I'm not prepared with something in my bag to eat, because I'm already expecting that I won't find anything. So that just becomes a part of the lifestyle when you're traveling. I'm going to have my glass container for my water. I'm going to have my chloroxygen drops. I'm going to keep my Himalayan pink salt or my black salt with me when I go places, because I like to flavor my foods at all times. And you want to make sure that you just kind of got your key items that you're going to want to eat. If that's some dates that you have in your bag, some pumpkin seeds in your bag, some coconut, whatever it is that, that's healthy, keep it in your bag, something that's quick and convenient that you can just eat and at least keep yourself functional until you get to your next healthy plant-based meal.
Or as my mom said, who tell you to go anywhere?
Well,
who said you go anywhere?
But I would say this, on a serious level, I'll say this.
We travel,
right? And we travel around, the United States. Sometimes we even travel across the world to
You
Europe.
got to plan your trip.
And right, but there's times where you get caught out. So let's be realistic. You can go to a destination, you're looking for these stuff. You
I
know,
love my
with
Yelp app.
the rule and the rules and regulations of security breach with planes and traveling now, you can't bring certain containers of different
Sure.
size and liquids and food. So, you know, you're really restricted. So what you got to do is you apply common sense. Okay. Say for instance, if you have to go to a restaurant and then eat, then order yourself a salad. You know, if they use iceberg lettuce, you don't want that. But if they have some tomatoes and some red onions, some asparagus, you maybe order that. Ask them to bring you a bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, a bit of
You basically have to be bossy.
Yeah,
You have to be
And-
bossy.
you
You have
do
to be
your
a bit of a brat.
And
And
like
you
that.
gotta have your go-tos too, because I noticed in going from a standard diet to a vegan diet, the Asian places, the Indian places, the Greek and Mediterranean places, the Ethiopian places, I could find something that I can eat to maintain until I got to my next
Right.
destination.
And what you'll find is that when you go, especially to those Ethiopian people, that you will get gassy because they do have lentils,
Lot of
split
lentils.
peas, and all of that, but they don't prepare them correctly.
It's a bit
Because once
racist on them in Ethiopian people.
the teeth for money, that's right. The teeth for Ross money. No, I'm only joking. But no, because also preparation of food is very important. Okay, when you're preparing your food, how it's prepared for you to get the best of the minerals out of it, you know, and the nutrition. So
You basically gotta wing it till you get to your next
it's
destination.
it's a lifestyle. You know, I mean, we find little substitutes like we get walnuts. You know, we would have those blue corn chips, and we have some seaweed, and we mix that up and shake it up in the bag.
Take
and
avocados.
Speaking of walnuts, somebody asked about parasites. How do you get rid of parasites?
Like
Dr. Amon,
walnuts.
how do you get rid of parasites? 'Cause I know you know how to get rid of
I've been trying to get rid of this one for years. Ain't working. No, we
Okay.
actually have a formula for parasites.
No soy milk whatsoever. I'm sorry, just had to jump in there. If a man drinks soy milk once a day, how
No,
will it affect his
no,
sperm?
no.
Will it affect his
Soya-
sperm count?
Yes, it will.
Soya
Yes, it will affect
It's
your sperm
high
count. Yes.
in aromatase.
Don't digress though. Get back to the parasite because I've seen
Back
somebody
to the
Yeah.
talking
parasites.
about the
So,
parasite.
no
Right, to
soy,
get rid of
brother.
parasites, we have a particular formula that is called
Paraphyte.
paraphytes. And some of them now,
But we
people-
only do prescription of that. We
right
don't just
now, some people
give it
will
out
say
anyway.
We'll get
garlic.
you viral disease.
We're going to ask for two questions in one here. Some people say garlic
garlic.
and wormwood. Those are two fundamental herbs for parasites, right? Well, one, garlic will get rid of, we already said this, it'll burn the lining of your small intestine,
Mhm.
right? So you don't want garlic. It thins your blood. Thinning the blood incorrectly is lack of oxygen to the brain. That's what your blood will eventually be: lack of magnesium, lack of calcium, lack of iron, lack of oxygen to the brain, which will lead to strokes. Okay? Wormwood. What I found with wormwood, it actually increases white blood cells.
Right.
So wormwood is gone. But walnuts or black walnuts kills parasites. Black sea oil or black oil, black sesame seeds. Again, you notice everything black, it kills parasites. Please don't believe us. Check it out. When you look at a chessboard, you got to look at that is your anatomy. The white blood cells is the whites. The black squares are your stem cells, what is known as your red blood cells. Under a microscope, they're real black. Even though they call them red, under a microscope, they come out as black.
So stem cell research is really red blood cell
Red,
research?
yeah, really, yeah. Now, when we deal with parasites, again, we recommend the 14-day liquid fast. You got to fast your body, cleanse it.
Don't
So,
feed them.
Don't feed them at all. Okay, starve them, and you will see them coming out. And like Dr. Amsu said earlier on with the endocrine system or the chemical reaction, is because what will go on with that over the period of days of you now starving the body will go through euthanizing your glucose, right, to keep the muscle and the energy going. When you get past that stage onto the 4th or 5th day of the body, it will go into a keystone or say the word I'm for.
Huh?
Sorry, after the 3 or 4 days, it will go into a
Silver hydrosol. Something like that.
What?
I guess they're talking about that.
Go ahead.
oh,
bro.
sorry.
Did you go
right,
ahead?
right. So we're saying from Well, I lost the train.
Oh, they noticed your
14-day
Jamaican
liquor fast.
background.
Oh, the 14-day
You know,
liquor fast.
I've penanted my family too, you know.
Right, from the 14-day liquid fast. That's what I'm saying. So we recommend that. So you don't feed them, okay? And the herbal formulas that we recommend will start attacking them. Now, you will see them coming out. You will see them come out through the defecation. You will see them coming out through throwing up. They literally, you will feel them running through your skin. So again, know the particular food that feed parasites, which we know dairy, which we know starch, which we know meat, wheat, sugar. Sugar is the number one. So you got to drop those maple syrups. You got to drop those agave, okay? The reason why we say that, again, because of how it's processed, okay? How it's extracted, the way it's structured. It's sugar water, all right? So when you strip those things away from your diet, you now start attacking the parasites. Parasites have their own form of survival. So they're going to tell you, they're going to send electrical pulsating messages to your brain. They're going to say to you.
They get into your cerebral spinal fluid, they get into your central nervous system. And they actually will influence your endocrine system or your digestive system and send where you're craving. You know, when people say they're craving, it's not you craving it, it's the parasites craving it.
Right.
So they actually get into your mind.
And they will start demanding foods, what they need to survive.
Yep.
So this is,
it's not you, it's the parasite.
So this is very, very, very important that when you fast and you detox, and there's many different techniques of fasting and detox in the body, right? That you know what the ending result, what's the final, you know, what I want when I finish this, whether it's 7 days, 14 days, 31 days, 90 days, you know, what is the ending result? What do I expect to be seeing? Okay. And this is why we're here to help and guide you through that process.
Wonderful,
you know?
Wonderful.
But leave garlic alone.
Leave the garlic alone.
Leave the garlic alone. Very acidic.
Leave the sugar alone.
Leave the sugar.
Agave is sugar. Maple syrup is sugar.
Grade A or B is sugar. Okay.
Extreme yeast issues. Is the fibroid elimination formula good for someone with extreme yeast issues?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely. You know, the bacterial vaginal disorder or issues that women suffer because of a pH unbalancement could be caused by many things. You know, it can be caused by just a different partner.
Sexual partners.
Could be caused by the latex on the condom.
Soaps and things that you're cleaning your vagina with.
Right. Panty liners. Different fabric with
hygiene
underwear.
Products, fabrics.
Anything could trigger it.
Certainly, starchy diet, all those pastries that you love during your cycle.
Right.
All those potato chips that you love.
Estrogen feeds it. Feeds off of estrogen.
Right.
Sugar feeds it.
You know, douching with, like, some women now use apple cider vinegar to douche.
That's right.
Crazy.
Douching.
Douching. There you go. Right. So our whole fibroid elimination program, all those female issues, discharge, unpleasant discharge, all types of discharges unpleasant, whether it's transparent, whether it's yellow or green. And believe me, we have had some stories. Yeah.
Just natural lubricant. No.
You know, if you're leaking,
no, that's something else. That's something else.
You don't want to be leaking.
If you stimulate it during
intimacy,
or on the way towards
right, or towards it, you're thinking, you know, booty cord, things like that, then that's fine. You know, that's fine. But if you are just leaking, then there's a problem.
And
that goes for men as well.
More than a dime size per day, you should not be having that much discharge.
Well, they actually say that's common, especially if you had a child. You know, the body's gone through changes. It's common to have this. It's common to have that.
So just like your yeast infections and your parasites, because viruses are parasites. But a virus is the DNA or RNA of another species that gets into you and it tries to replicate itself, right? So there are STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, and you have some of them are viruses, such as HPV or HSV, herpes simplex, and you know we have a STD elimination protocol, which is actually bar. We've developed a formula to help to speed it up, or protocol to help to speed it up, called lymphatics, right? Which we're about to bring out, which will be. But we have a STD elimination program on fibroidelimination.com. We actually also have amahealth.org, which is our main site, but because we concentrated on fibroids and estrogen dominance, that's the site that we really, we've put a lot of time into, and that. So we have a STD elimination program, and here's Chef Aki again, not silencing her phone. If she wasn't the host, we would have fired her. If she wasn't the host, she would have been out of here. Right?
She will also be selling the products on her website.
Yeah, she'll be selling her products on our products on her website.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
14-day during breastfeeding.
No.
We want to wait on that. And then we were talking what sweetness is acceptable during this diet.
Okay. We've been mentioning the honey before.
Manuka honey.
Manuka honey. Also,
especially if you have herpes, right? Manuka honey is absolutely essential, right? While you're getting rid of herpes, right? We have, and this is the thing. You've been told, right? You've been told, but if you have estrogen dominance, dates, leave them alone.
Yes.
While you're getting rid of your fibroids.
Reproductive disorders.
And cucumbers
Ease up
as well.
on the cucumber and
Cucumbers very
dates.
good, as you know, to flush out the liver, right? Kidneys, the excretory system, but it does contain estrogen. So if you're estrogen dominant, some of these foods you have to eliminate. But once you get the estrogen or your fibroid or whatever condition that you're suffering, once that is eliminated, then things like dates and cucumber can be reintroduced back into your diet. But
the process of a good fast is not in my book. We do talk about fasting, and I talk about just taking your time, going from whatever your current diet is into a vegan diet, and then into a non-hybrid raw food diet, and then on into it. But it doesn't give you a fasting regimen. I don't know if you guys offer a fasting regimen outside of the 14-day fast.
Right, we offer a fasting regimen, and that's why we designed the 14-day liquid fast, because we're also nutrition coaches. So we recommend, this is what our mission statement is that we don't use the word fat. Okay, when people say, "Well, I want to lose weight because I want to lose this fat,"
we don't lose weight. We say get rid of fat.
Well, I was gonna
or toxin.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, let me think.
Go ahead.
Right? We don't we don't like using the word like fat and losing weight.
I use the word fat. He don't like using fat. I'm not politically correct. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna lose some of that fat.
Not fat, it's white adipose
tissue. Thank you. And what I usually say, you're getting rid of toxins. Okay,
fat,
and you're not losing weight, you're losing toxins. Okay, because fat is toxins. That's how you see it. The white adipose tissue.
Oh, look at that big white adipose tissue lady over there. Nah, man. Look at that fat lady over there.
Right. So what we do as nutrition coaches, we walk you through and we design. Now, the 14-day liquid fast is a blanket design for everyone. However, we have come across that when people are doing it, they have different symptoms and different reactions to the 14 days. So with that in mind, we've had to now coach personal step-by-step, tweaking the fast and the detox to suit that individual because they're having different reactions to it. Some people are fine. They're like, hey, this is wonderful. I can actually still train. You know, I can still be active. This is just terrific. Other people are like, Lord God, I'm dead, I'm dying. Doctor, what y'all do to me? And we've had to coach them. We have to tweak it. And then at the ending of it, they see the magnificent result from things like a lady lost her fibroids in 14 days, high blood pressure.
Would you suggest that for an incurable viral disease?
When you have that, it's a platform to start your steps towards curing it, to have the remedy. When
we don't believe in incurable, first of all.
Any disease you have, fasting is recommended to start.
If you're breastfeeding, no 14-day. You can do intermittent fasting where don't eat. So you have your circadian rhythm, right? Your circadian clock, which is your body clock, right? there's a time of the day when you're really supposed to eat. There's a window when you're supposed to eat. So eat between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. Some people will say 6 or whatever, but
I say 6.
right? You know, some people will say, you know, but we give a certain 8-hour window, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then just drink anytime after that. But fruits are good at any time of the day.
Mhm.
And
And
please,
great for children too. By the way,
Right.
this mother of 4 talk about children transitioning. Take your time. Smoothies, fruit. Children love fruits. Melons, cantaloupes, great
Make your
season
food
them,
exciting.
plums, peaches, pears.
If you're
Lay it
from-
all out
If
for
you're
them.
from the West
Let
Indies
the
or the
children cook
Caribbean,
with you.
all those things that grow there wild, that's what you want to be eating. You know, there's foods that were imported into the West Indies,
and sugarcane.
sugarcane and that, which, you know, inflammatory.
Pineapple.
So, you know, pineapple is okay in
Moderation.
moderation. It's okay. Something
Because
that if it's
it
there,
does-
and if it's there and you're hungry, yam it.
because pineapple again does burn away by adipose tissues.
Right. So it
You
is
know?
good for certain things, but in moderation,
Mm.
you know, hold it down. But if you're from the Caribbean, anything that's wild,
Mangoes.
mangoes, excellent. You saw
Children love
this is
mango.
for Pennant, Nancy Pennant, I think it was.
Mhm.
Cousin, you know, eat the things that grow out there. You know, there's sarsaparilla, and this guy says
Sarsaparilla.
it's
Sarsaparilla.
not sarsaparilla, it's
But-
sarsaparilla. That's how it's spelled. That's how we say it,
I
right?
love the bee
But
steam. Yes, I do,
these are the
sweetheart.
things that are
I'm
good.
all about a bee steam. Absolutely.
We found out about sorrel though, and sorrel
wow. It's
has
good.
a level of vital, and sorrel is actually an anti-carcinogen,
Xavier says
but
no hibiscus.
hibiscus, right?
Yeah.
It's high in.
Yeah.
So
You don't want it.
I love sorrel, right?
Yeah.
So you
It's
know,
a no-no.
it's a no-no,
It's a
and it
no-no.
was hard for me because I grew up on that gym.
Yeah, we all did. You know, it's a Caribbean thing.
Tamarind punch.
But the tamarind is just taking over everything. Don't look at me that way.
Ah!
In Grenada, we have sorrel. Yeah, we just make it better.
Add more sugar.
And
to
you
it.
asked when will they make the STD elimination book available?
We might write a book on it. But
We've got a
most,
package.
Done yet.
but this is the thing. Most people who have an STD, and most people who come to us with STD, it's always
Highly
herpes.
confidential.
It's always about herpes, right? Because you know it's the one that they say you cannot cure. But we know, all right, how to break it down. We know where it hides out. We know how to, you know, that it hides in the nerve cells,
In the central
right?
spine.
And at the base of your spine. So they also hide out in gram-negative bacteria. There's bacteria that have 2 cell walls.
You know,
So there's things like cloves that are excellent for it. Licorice is good for that, but licorice is high in estrogen.
True. You
And
see why they,
anise
you see
also
why they
high
say
in
it's
So
uncurable is because
oregano.
where herpes is located, like you said, the base of the spine, your immune system, which is your lymphatic system, doesn't detect it. So what you got to do is disrupt it from its location. And once you disrupt it, now it's detectable by your immune system. And once the immune system detects it, it attacks it. Okay? So again,
But
it's
it also takes time because
depending on how long you've are holding the virus for. For instance, if you've held the virus for many years, 5, 6, 7 years, then now you have to understand you've affected so many cells in your body with that virus. So even though we disrupt the virus from its location, we now still have to deal with cleaning out the cells that it's been infected. So it could take a year, 12 months, 14 months in order to get it done. If you've
all right, somebody asked about, because I'm cutting you, 'cause you're rambling, man. You're rambling.
No.
Somebody asked about
Good.
recommendations for children.
I want to
Whatever
get back
you
into
buy
that.
and cook, that's what they eat. It's a dictatorship. I'm telling you, when it comes to children, you have to be a dictator, right? If you lay down whatever
I
you
would agree
buy,
with that.
right? Whatever you
That's what
buy
we eat.
in your house,
Mhm.
that's what you tell your children. Even if they cry for the first 2 days or whatever, when they're hungry, they're gonna come around.
one of the sayings we have from Grenada is that we are on things not on we.
That sounds like a Jamaican saying that.
No, they want to jump on it, but it goes to children. Your children, you have to be the best example to your children.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you're eating correctly, they're gonna fall in place. Yes, they might get distracted by if they're at school, if they're not homeschooled, so by at school or what they see on the TV and that. So be creative. That's why you got Chef Aki. She will show you how to
Consultations, meal plans, up to 78 recipes.
and she will show you
guys.
how. There you go.
I can help you everyday consultations.
See that? So then she would definitely be there to guide you.
Absolutely.
Because with children, depending on what age you have, it all is down to making the food
GoChefAki.com.
look exciting. You see, that's what it's
All
about.
about how it looks.
How it looks.
It
It
has to
looks
be
exciting.
small,
It looks colorful.
colorful,
Right,
chopped in
playful.
small sizes.
You know?
You can even blend things in your food processor and mix it in with sauces that they enjoy. So
Right.
it's hiding in there and it's small.
Don't tell them what it is. Let them
Don't
yam it.
tell
And
them
after
what it
they eat, and
Can I tell you something?
that's when you can
I
drop
made-
what it is.
I made some home burgers the other day from wild black rice, walnuts, and that. But I didn't tell them what it
Don't
was.
tell them.
I didn't tell them what it was, and I coated it with tamarind
Tamarind sauce.
sauce. I coated it, so it made it look brown. It made it look like turkey. It made it look like meat, and I put them in the dehydrator. I didn't tell them. I just had them on the plate. Children came in. Bam! Can I have some of that? Sure. Wow, this is. What's this? They didn't even ask if it was me.
Right.
They was just smitten by the
Want something
taste.
that's tastes and smells.
Right. And they just ate it. And I had to make another batch. And I felt proud. I was like, listen, Friday night will be our junk night. We'll have these burgers, we'll make our little wraps from teff flour. That's TEFF. Okay. Very high in iron for women that might be suffering with iron deficiency. Teff flour. It's very good for that. Right. Gluten-free as well. Okay. And, so when you got kids, as us being fathers and grandfathers and that, we've got to make it exciting. So Chef Aki's here to help with that. So please, also be the
Follow me
example.
every Sunday.
Also be the example.
Free class live
know?
on my Facebook every Sunday. Not today, but starting
Now,
again.
I don't know what is V-Steam. I don't know what V-Steam
Oh yeah,
is, so I
I
can't
was suggesting
recommend
it. I actually have a homemade V-steam, and it's basically just herbs that steam
that's
the
for the vajayjay.
vagina.
Okay.
And and I do recommend them.
Oh,
It's
that's
very
why it's
soothing. It's really wonderful for women after they give birth to tighten and to heal, to
vegetarian.
herbally heal the vagina.
Should I tell you what else is good for
I'm all about it.
the V-steam? A natural way that's even more effective is sun gazing with it. Basically, make sure there's no perverts
Sun
around.
guides with your vagina.
There
Sun
you
gaze
go.
with your vagina.
Yes, sit
Absolutely.
down, open your legs,
Queen Afua has been teaching us
and
that
let-
for
and let
years.
the
Make
sun-
sure your neighbors ain't around.
around.
Yes.
Make sure the neighbors ain't around.
Let the sun on
Okay.
in, ladies.
Make sure there's no
Let
peeping
the
tongues.
sunshine in.
Okay. Make sure there's no peeping tongues.
Make
You know,
sure
that's-
absolutely.
If you see Adidas brand, anyone wearing an Adidas
Then
tracksuit,
run.
lock up. Lock up. But no, seriously.
I'm a doctor.
That,
Oh, nice.
that the rays, the frequency from the sun, and this is the time you want it. Okay, you want it from 11 o'clock, between 11 to 3 o'clock, because that's when the sun is the most potent.
Premieres, good
Yes.
sun, yes.
Right, that's the most
UVBs.
potent. The UVBs are most potent at that time.
Mhm.
So that, and I mean, you will sweat, and it's also good for men that are suffering with anything like prostate cancer, low sperm count. The sun is like the ultimate source of regeneration and
healing,
helping and
right.
healing for cancer, for STDs, for fibroids, anything you have. Because what it does, the regeneration of tissue and sun, what the sun does to the regeneration of our tissues and our cells is incredible, which we'll have in the next set of
And it's not going to destroy the natural flora in the vagina. It's no different than really taking a bath. Actually, it's probably more gentle. It's not like you're douching with some chemical that's going in there and messing up your internal ecosystem in your vagina. That's not what's going on here. The vaginal steam is simply just, it's like an herbal rinse almost to the vagina, but it's just steaming it just for a time, mostly for
Who's that
healing.
person who asked about the facial?
Oh, and as far as facial cleanses, for me, I'm all about clay. I love black soap, I love aloe, and I love clay on my skin in particular. And I love witch hazel and coconut. I love rose water. These are some of the things, and we'll talk about that also a little more on the blog this week, skincare. And I'm always talking about that. But red clay to pull out the toxins, to tighten the skin, black soap to tighten, and sunshine. Sunshine more than anything is going to really help the skin. Also, dandelion is really
Remember, stuff that's
wonderful.
going on inside.
It's all
that
about
comes
inside.
out.
Dandelion.
Let me say
Dandelion
this.
is wonderful to clean the liver and the kidneys. It's great for the skin.
I don't put nothing on my skin
that you
that I
won't
can't
eat.
consume.
That's it. Coconut oils, plain and straight.
Love coconut.
I can't drink or eat black soap, and I wouldn't drink or eat black
But
soap.
I can eat clay.
But you can eat clay. That's right. You can consume clay. That's another black clay, red clay, excellent for getting rid of parasites. So go back to the parasites. Thank you. Just remind me of that. Okay. Anything you can't consume, don't put on your skin.
It is drying. Black soap is drying, and it dries my skin a little too, actually. And I personally, I don't mind it because I'm going to slather on the coconut oil after I wash my skin anyway.
See, the
But that's
white
just
man
me.
created the black soap to fool us into putting that on our skin, man. You don't fall for the okie doke, man.
I
It dries
actually
your
say-
skin.
Like it,
You
Yeah,
don't know.
I actually say with the face, I use cold or lukewarm water
tea tree.
and coconut oil. That's
There you
it.
go.
Yeah, because you're
That's
a man.
But
You
internally,
see, I have a beard, right? And you find that
no.
we don't have any. I don't have any. But
Women,
barber bumps
women
or
wearing
anything like that.
makeup, they won't
So
really deep
this is what I was
cleanse
gonna say. Equivalent to the makeup, because Doctor Amsu wears makeup, but he doesn't have a beard. So what I'm saying in comparison, to the makeup that men, I mean, let's be facing now, there's men out there with makeup, but in comparison of or substitute to the makeup is our beard. And as men, we know the beard of our hair, it grows as internal, so it's irritable and we can get those bumps and everything like that. So we have to take care of our face the same way. That's why I put no aftershave on the face. No, not at all. Okay, no soap,
Ooh.
not at all. What we
didn't
just
cover
use
that.
is just water. And I tell you what else,
Lady got a cyst from drinking aloe vera.
All right.
he's gonna kill aloe vera. He loves it. I'm gonna let him take this now. But I tell you also
And we're
with
gonna come to a
deodorant,
close
also with
shortly, guys.
deodorant, one of the
Yeah.
things that I've learned over the day, what's excellent for deodorant
Aztec clay is good.
is
Oh, I love
is
Aztec clay.
key
Love
lime
the Aztec clay. Hope
or
it's working.
lemons. Key lime or lemons, takes away all bacteria underneath the armpits. It
Mhm.
also, like Dr. Hamson says, the lymphatic system is usually stagnant. It doesn't move. Well, when you put the key lime and the lemon juice under your armpits,
Mhm.
right, as well as the intake, and you saw him doing the movement, it kickstarts the lymphatic system. Because most of the time you get the cancer coming from the lymph nodes underneath there because of the toxins not being released, because the deodorant or the deodorant that we've been buying, the chemicals that is in it,
Antiperspirant.
anti-purpose, it's blocking the duct, it's blocking your cells. So that is now backing up and affecting the lymph nodes, which is part of the lymphatic system. And then they start coming cancerous.
No sunscreen. Joy
Coconut oil.
Farrell. No sunscreen.
Coconut oil.
Coconut oil, get in the
oil.
sun.
Get in the sun.
Get in the sun.
Simple.
Sun is
Now,
healing.
address the aloe vera.
All right, so aloe vera is a hybrid, and it being a hybrid is also estrogenic as well, right? So that's why you will get fibroids from aloe vera. But here's also a yeast infection, right? So this is the thing with aloe vera as well.
She got a cyst.
A lot of women have spontaneous abortions because aloe vera also weakens the lining, weakens the muscle. It's a relaxant of muscles. So it weakens the womb. So you have, I've got friends who, they religiously were drinking aloe vera or eating or however it was
Yeah,
consumed.
they miscarried.
And they were miscarriaging, were
That's
short
true.
term. Sometimes they gave birth. Some people give birth prematurely, like at 4 months,
5 months.
5 months, and the baby ain't developed and whatever. So you don't want to take any aloe vera at all.
And we talked about lemons and limes earlier for you, Amaris Daniil. You heard that lemons were not natural and too acidic for Black people. We got into that a little bit earlier, and just to wrap that up really briefly, we talked about structural acids, lemon being a structural acid, and that limes also are acid, and that it's not so much about something being too acidic for Black people or too alkaline. It's more about maintaining the balance because there are some acids that are needed, and that lemon is a hybrid acid that is actually good for us.
The structured acid. However, lime and lemon are both acidic, but they alkaline the body.
But they alkaline the body.
They do alkaline the body by destroying white adipose tissues and white blood cells. That's the structured acid you get from key lime, lemon, kiwi, pineapple, watermelon, cantaloupe, just to list a few. So again, when we was discussing earlier about the pH and acidity and alkalinity, then you don't get anything more alkaline than what would you say, ammonia, bleach. You don't drink swimming pool water, do you? Because that's what they call synthetic alkalinity. You don't want that. You want natural alkalinity, which if you keep a basic principle of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in your food and your food that you eat, it will keep you on the right path. But there's nothing wrong with lemons or key limes. I have stressed, don't get those normal organic limes that you cut open and there's no seeds in it. That's man-made. You want key limes, which have the seeds. K-E-Y, and organic lemons. Nothing wrong with them at all.
And no aloe.
And no aloe vera.
No aloe at all.
No.
You guys, it is now 33 minutes after 7, and I just want to thank you all for joining us, and thank you to the Aboriginal Medical Association doctors for joining us today for Let's Set the Record Straight. We will be back for part 2 soon.
Yeah.
We'll let you all know.
Adidas or Nike? Before we go,
we asked this at
let's
the
have a
beginning
vote.
of the
Let's
show.
have a vote.
We said in the beginning of the show, okay, we got Adidas. Now, I used to be a big fan of Adidas, but the moment that Run DMC dropped the mic, I dropped Adidas, because you notice that the leaf was like an afro when the Run DMC was rocking my Adidas. It was like an afro. But when they dropped the mic, the Adidas became, the symbol changed. It just
He's a
became
politician.
European.
He's a politician.
So
He's trying to sell Nike.
Nike Air was the birth of Air Jordans. Feel me where I'm going with this.
I said we cut a deal
So
with one of
what
these
we
companies,
asking
and
in
then
a
I'll get
nutshell,
on there
people,
too. That's how that
quickly,
works.
in the last 5 seconds, punch it in right now. A Nike or Adidas?
Y'all,
White blood cells Adidas,
thank you
or
guys.
black blood cells Nikes?
Thank you guys.
People, let's hear us talk. What they
You
saying?
know what? Nothing
There you go,
yet.
son.
Nothing
Tell
yet.
that guy to
They
shut
say
up.
thank you. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us.
I like both.
Go to your website again, guys, and your email addresses. Websites, guys. Email addresses and websites. info@fibroidelimination.com.
Nike. There you go. Nike.
Listen, I like both. info@fibroidelimination.com.
Nice.
you
Shame on
guys.
you, Marie.
Go chefaki.com for more information, and we'll be back for part 2, you guys.
Yeah, on a serious tip, we're here to help you. So please, just know that the
Adidas.
support is at the end of the line. Okay? We love you loads. And let's get healthy, people. 2016, let's stay healthy.
Woo woo.